yeah, 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 yeah. Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eyes. The Bible guy, he reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy, he turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy, watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, howdy, folks. Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. How are we all doing today? Make sure everyone that you tap that screen. Share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there so we can have some interesting conversations about God. Good God, y'all. Well, not good God. You guys, not very good, to be honest. Made a character assessment. Not all that great. Anyways, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. Make sure that you are sharing out the live, like the live, tap that screen. If you're on TikTok, like Jonathan wanted to tap King David. Let's get the word out there. So, what are your pronouns? He, him? My pronouns are he, him. Good to see you here. We got our first guest already for the day. Mechanic, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I am.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And question number 3, do you believe in a God, and if so, which God?
I believe in the Christian God, the only God.
All right, why should I believe in your God?
Well, that kind of boils down to what is your definition of atheism?
A lack of belief in God.
Okay, so you don't just hate God, you just genuinely don't believe in God.
No, that would be mesotheism. Or mesotheism.
Right, but you aside, a lot of people do get that confused. That's why I ask.
You know, I just lack a belief in your God. I mean, I think I mean, when I assess the character of your God from the holy text, he is a dick. But like, I hate him about as much as I hate Voldemort, which is, you know, like, I don't really give him much thought.
Well, first of all, Voldemort was goated, but
no, he wasn't. He was a racist and an asshole.
Racist? How was Voldemort racist?
He thought that all Muggles and Mudbloods deserved to die. That's pretty racist.
Yeah, but Muggles is not a race. Mudbloods.
You know what I mean? He was a bigot against a particular group of people.
Bigot, I could see. Yeah,
we don't support bigots. Now,
I get them.
Why should I believe that your God exists?
Well, I don't see any evidence to go against believing that this God does exist. Even the Quran that was written after the Old Testament and parts of the New Testament showed and was written by the prophet to abide by the Bible because he was illiterate and could not read the Bible.
Wait, are you Christian or are you Muslim?
No, I'm a Christian.
All right. First, so your God doesn't exist until we're given good evidence for his existence. It's not the job of the atheist to provide evidence against the existence of God. It's the job of the one who's making the positive claim that God does exist to give evidence for his existence.
Let's get into evolution then. Why
are we pivoting?
Pivoting from what? What was
from the question of you giving me a positive proof for your God's existence to now we're going to talk about atheism. I mean, even now we're going to talk about evolution. Even if evolution wasn't true, still wouldn't believe in your God. Still wouldn't have a reason to believe in your God.
It's a ladder getting to my point of why.
But it doesn't help though, because if I denied evolution today, I still wouldn't believe in your God. So provide positive evidence. Provide positive evidence.
Talking about evolution in the same standpoint.
The only evolution I'm aware of is the one that we teach in biology, and it's besides the point. Do you not have evidence for your God, or is your You're just so you know, evidence for God isn't evidence against other positions.
That's exactly the definition of evidence.
No, it's not. See, like for example, if I wanted to provide evidence for evolution, and like I wanted to give a keynote speech on the topic, I would not once have to talk about the problems with creationism. Not once. I could just give the evidence for evolution without talking about all the things that are wrong with creationism. In the same way, you should be able to, if you have evidence for your God, provide the positive evidence for your God without talking about what you think is the problem with evolution.
Okay, why do you think you have essence and consciousness? Same thing as for animals. Why do you think they have essence and
Let's
consciousness?
pretend I don't know. Why should I think it's your God?
Okay, because you don't know is also another stepping stone to get to there is one above all that
No.
did create.
That's literally what's
Science-
called. That's
Science
literally
cannot create that.
That's literally called an argument from ignorance, and it's a fallacy. I'm not going to jump to the conclusion that something is true because I don't like. That's you're doing God the gaps. I don't know, therefore God. I could just say I don't know, therefore it's universe farting pixies. Like I could make up any answer if I don't know. How about instead of like I don't know, therefore God? How about we just go to what we do know? I do know this, and therefore God.
I'm giving you a definitive argument.
It's not
So
definitive.
it is when I say that
It's I don't know how things work, therefore it must be God.
no, I just simply said science cannot create essence.
I don't even know what that means. Essence. I create essence every night before bed.
No, you don't.
I open up Pornhub. I create some essence into a sock
not what essence
sometimes.
is. You cannot create consciousness, nor can anyone else, nor can science. Science cannot create
It's not something to
consciousness.
be created. It's something that happens naturally, as far as I can see.
What's your proof on that?
Because I don't have any evidence of the supernatural, therefore the only viable explanation is.
But you just said you're
natural.
not going to believe something based off of what you don't know.
I'm not going to. I have evidence that nature exists. I don't have evidence of a supernature. Therefore, the only thing that's even plausible for an explanation for the origin of consciousness is going to be something natural.
That's what I'm saying. So where's your proof that consciousness does come from the foundation of naturality?
Because all we have is nature, as far as I can tell. Unless you can provide
As
evidence
far
of,
as you can tell, you don't know it.
provide evidence of the supernature, and then I'll take that in consideration.
Well, that's where it comes from. The
Prove it.
proof coming from non-proof.
Prove that that the supernature even exists. If I don't, if it doesn't exist, then I'm not going to put it up for consideration as to be the origin of consciousness.
If what we conceive to be science cannot create something that we rely on.
First and foremost, I don't trust your ability to know what the science says. Secondly, even if science couldn't fabricate consciousness, whatever the fuck that means, that wouldn't mean that your God automatically is responsible for doing it. You had to provide evidence that your God is actually responsible for doing it, if you want me to believe.
What does believe mean? You just answered your own question right there.
You want me to get the dictionary out and tell you what the word believe
Yes.
means? All right.
Sure. If that's what it takes, sure.
Sure. I guess I have to get simple words and define them for you from a dictionary because we don't know what the word believe means. Let's see. Believe, a statement or habit of mind in which trust or confidence is placed in some person or thing. Something that is accepted, considered to be true, or held as an opinion. Now what?
Exactly. So that's what that is.
Wait, why'd you say exactly like what I just why'd you say exactly like the definition I gave said like confirmed anything you said? It didn't.
Because you're talking about why should you believe off of a definitive. That does not go hand in hand.
Why should I believe that your God has any existence when you've given me zero reasons to think he exists?
Just like the definition said, you don't need any reason.
No,
it's simply
whoa. When did it say no reason? When did it say no reason?
Anything opinionated is hand in hand.
Opinions can have you can have reasons for your opinion.
You can. You don't have to.
Okay, I would prefer to have reasons for my opinions.
Well, that's your preference.
Yeah, give me a reason to think your God exists.
Well, if you can't grasp the concept of simple consciousness, I can't do that. If your brain capacity cannot keep up with the conversation.
Grasp the concept of simple consciousness. You think consciousness is simple? We got a whole field of science, neurology,
and I think the concept of consciousness is simple,
all dedicated to the concept of trying to understand consciousness. It's very complicated.
I never said anything about understanding consciousness.
You did.
No, what I said
you're not going to gaslight me.
I'm not gaslighting
So
You
you.
are.
consciousness can't be simple, because when we look at our hearing systems are
The wrong
like
argument.
basically
Never made that argument,
all
though.
you just said simple consciousness. Just that is what you said several times. It can't be, because in order to sensate the reality, those processes aren't simple. So just on the sensating end, to be self-aware is just magnificently difficult. It took us a long time to understand just sensation. We've got a lot of that figured out, but consciousness and how we're self-aware, even at the most basic levels, is still a pretty complicated subject. So I just maybe not, have a little Dunning-Kruger there and think that you might know a little more than you know about this.
Yeah. Can we also not engage in logical fallacies like the arguments from ignorance? Like, I don't know how this thing works, therefore it must be God. Can you give us a positive piece of evidence for your God's existence, other than that you don't know how the brain works?
Okay, so I will reiterate for you the concept, right? Keyword concept of consciousness is not hard to grasp. Consciousness, sure, we can never fully understand that. That is of divine nature. The concept.
Whoa. No, you don't get to just say it's of divine nature until you prove it's divine.
Well, by definition, divine
It's
is
not.
above understanding.
No, it's not. No, divine relates to deity and to the supernatural, not just above understanding. Like, I guarantee you that calculus is above your understanding. It's not divine.
No, I'm talking about understanding as a whole, not just from an
Of
independent
relating
perspective.
to or proceeding directly from God or a God. That's what divine means. You don't get to just say that something is divine if your God doesn't exist.
Absolutely, I do. Because whether you believe he exists or not,
I mean,
divine
I
will
suppose you
still be-
can just say shit, but no one's gonna believe you.
Doesn't matter. What I'm saying.
It does matter
is what I'm saying.
if you're trying to convince someone. It does matter whether or not you are convincing or not. Do you have any good arguments for your God's existence?
Yes, I mean, if you just want to do wordplay instead of an actual debate,
It's not wordplay. It's not wordplay.
It
When you
is.
use
It
words
is.
incorrectly, I have to call you out on that. Oh, he ran away.
Also, if I got it, his argument was that consciousness was divine, so therefore God, which feels a lot like begging the question.
That was funny. He fucking ran. I didn't drop him, everyone. He just ran. Man. All right. I guess we'll bring up the next guest. Hill Bill Down. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get into the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
God-fearing American, saluting American.
None of those words were pronouns.
None of your words are pronouns either.
Actually, my words sometimes are pronouns. I used the word my just now. Pronoun.
That's not a pronoun. That is a noun.
My is a pronoun.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
5th grade was a long time ago
it's
for
like
you, wasn't
mine. If mine is right, what you're saying?
This is
It's like,
embarrassing.
this is mine.
Watch.
Not I am mine. Because that's kind of retarded. Well, mine.
Oh, okay.
Mine.
Use the slur.
Either way, it's retarded saying,
Okay.
I just meant mine because
if someone failed the 5th grade and they decide to make that all of our problem. Also, you can't use slurs on the live. You'll get dropped. Talking to someone with a brain the size of a squirrel. The size of a squirrel's brain. Literal toddlers.
I would say that was no student left behind, but I think they were too old for that. That was just them.
That was just the South. I can say that because I'm from the South. All right. Sheen Philly 7. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, then we'll get to the conversation at hand. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Absolutely.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
What do you mean, do I go by? You got to be more specific. What do you mean?
Pronouns are words that replace nouns and sentences that in order to avoid repetition. And in the English language, the kinds of pronouns that can change and thus would need to be like I would need to know the difference from is third person pronouns.
All right, give me an example so I can understand what you mean.
Yeah, examples of third person pronouns would be he and him, she and her, they and them.
But I don't understand. If I say she and her, what you mean? You know that I'm a him. I mean, I don't understand.
I don't know. If you say you're she, her, then I'll assume that you go by she.
All right, and you know what? You're absolute. But I am a male. I am a him. But I understand what you're saying.
Male doesn't tell me what your pronouns are.
What do you mean? I don't. You keep saying my pronouns.
There are males that go by he, him. There are males that go by she, her. There are males that go by they, them.
If what's between your legs makes your pronouns, then I was your father last night. That's how simple that is.
No, I understand what you're saying. I just don't understand why do we have to go this far with this.
It's a test. It's a test to see how smart and how honest you are in this conversation.
Well, okay. Well,
so what pronouns do you go by?
Well, I'm a male, man. I'm gonna go with male.
Male is a noun, not a pronoun.
But there's nothing else there.
I didn't ask. Nope. If I asked about what your sex was, then male could be a correct answer. But I didn't ask what your sex was.
But what would make it not be a correct answer? No, I'm asking. What makes it
not a correct answer is that male is a noun and not a pronoun. I asked.
So if I say I'm a male,
why is this so difficult? I asked if I asked what is your sex, then you could have said male or female, and that would have been all fine and dandy. But I didn't ask you that. I said, what are your pronouns? Not nouns, pronouns. And then I gave you 3 options that you could have picked from. Now you're wasting our time. So I'll ask you again. What pronouns do you go
by?
Brother,
listen, this is all I'm saying.
Not anyways. We don't move on until you tell us your pronouns.
Let's help this individual. I feel generous today. Hi, I'm Ashland. I go by she, her pronouns, and it has nothing to do with the anatomy between my legs.
I'm Dalton, and I go by he, him, and it also has nothing to do with the anatomy between my legs. Now that we've
I'll go with he, him. I mean, but I don't understand why.
I don't care.
That's what I don't understand. Why?
That tells me everything we need to know about the conversation now. We wasted 3 fucking minutes just getting a simple
answer. Yeah, we wasted 3 fucking minutes of you asking.
I don't have any hope that the rest of the conversation is going to be any better. Question number 3. I know you're stupid. Now, question number 3.
Question and see if you can.
Question number 3 is.
Since you want
chill out. Stop crashing out. You're crashing out really hard. It's really embarrassing. Question number 3. Why should I believe in your God? And when I ask why should I believe in your God, I already know I don't have to believe in your God. Nor am I insinuating that you are trying to force me to believe in your God. I am just asking for reasonable justification to think that your God exists. So what would that be, bud?
Because the information that I have to give you, God has nothing to lose, but you do.
Which God, by the way?
It's only one God.
Which is?
It's only one.
What's his name? Or her name?
Man, he has thousands of names. Yahweh, Allah, Jesus, whatever you want to call it.
So you're Christian, okay.
No, now, I'm not Christian. Now you're giving me, you're labeling me now.
Wait. Do you deny?
Every time I say.
Do you deny? This is. I knew. See, guys, the pronoun question always tells us everything we need to know about these conversations. And that's why if you engage in the debate scene, you too should also do the pronoun question, because it's going to tell you everything you need to know about how immature your interlocutor is going to be in this conversation. See, like they just keep going. Now, now the next question I'm going to ask you is,
we should run data on this, Dalton.
I could. I honestly could at this point.
We need to run data on this.
Now, Sheen, do you believe or do you reject the statement that Jesus of Nazareth was the Christ and the Son of God?
Definitely the Messiah, without question.
Was he the Son of God also?
Absolutely.
Okay, then you're a Christian. Now,
that's not true.
Why should I believe
that's
in your
not true.
Now, why should
You're
I believe?
Telling false information because I follow Christ.
On this channel,
I'm a Christian.
Christian refers to an individual who believes that Jesus is the Messiah, Son of Christ, the Son of God. Now chill the fuck out. If you're PHI, I'm considering you a Christian. Now
that's ignorant.
I don't care if you think it's ignorant. Now, why should I think that your God exists?
You want me to answer that, or you already got the answer?
I don't. If I had the answer, I wouldn't ask you.
Well, by me trying to explain it, it seems like you already got the answer to it.
You haven't yet explained to me why I should believe in your God.
Well, first of all, it's not my choice if you want to believe in our God, because it's your God too.
Why did I once insinuate that it was your choice whether or not I believe in your God?
No, it's your choice.
It's not.
It is a choice.
No, beliefs aren't choices.
You don't want to know the truth, do you?
Well, I do want to know the truth, but what we believe, is not a choice. We are either convinced that something is true.
Hey.
Wait 1 second. We are either convinced that something is true, in which case we will believe in it, or we are not convinced that something is true, in which case we cannot believe. In which case we cannot believe.
Give me a chance.
So belief is not a choice. Go ahead. Say your chance.
Sheen Philly. Hey, if you keep interrupting, we cannot have a conversation. So you're either going to act like a full-grown adult, and we're going to have discourse back and forth, and you're going to let the host speak because this is the host live, this is not your live, or we're going to move on to the next person. Because if you're just going to be combative this entire time and unmute when the host is trying to talk and talk over them, then it's going to get annoying for everybody involved, including the individuals watching this show. So can you be a grown adult?
All I'm asking for is a chance to explain myself, and you're not doing that. But you haven't gave me a chance. You did most of the talking.
You will get the opportunity.
Me off every chance you get.
When I ask you a question, Ashlyn, your background noise is really loud. When I finish talking and then I ask you a question, he ran. Wow, such babies. They're such babies, everybody. So sad. So sad. Christianity, they suck. Christianity gotta do better.
Sorry about my background noise. It's raining. I can't help that. Can we stop in the comment section with the asking a question? That is one, just a speech term, and especially within the black population, it's giving racism.
Yeah, guys, don't be making fun of people for saying axing, please. All right. Amari, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation.
Okay, perfect.
Question number 1, are you at least 18?
Yeah, I am.
Are you American?
Yeah.
What's a W-2 form?
Huh?
What's a W-2 form? If you leave the screen, I will know that you're leaving the screen.
Amari, we know that you're looking this up when you leave.
Yes, I am looking it up because I did.
Let's see. We have here weak face. I don't know what this is. An emoji picture. Emoji,
hey there, kids.
Emoji. I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
What's a W-2 form?
It's that one W-2 form.
Yeah.
I mean, we could ask them a FAFSA after that, because some college kids really don't know what a W-2 is.
Yeah. Nikto good. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least... Oh, they're gone. All right. Faye Wild. If you're not 18 years old, I do not want to talk to you. Everyone, if you're not 18 years old, drop. Are you at least 18 years old?
I bet I didn't mean to join. Yes, I am. Please take me out.
Okay. Man, a bunch of children and adults that act like children. You know? Oh, you're good, Faye. What we got going on here? Nikto Good is back. Nikto Good. I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. Are you at least 18?
No, I'm not. But can I just say one thing?
No, you can't. A pharmacy that tech overdosed. Shay Robinson.
Hello?
Shay, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. Are you at least 18?
Yes.
All right. Question number 2. What pronouns do you go by?
I am a he and a him.
And question number 3. Do you believe in a God? And if so, what God?
I do believe in a God, and a creator God, not a Christian God.
Just a generic creator God. All right.
Yes, somebody created them.
Okay. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. Why should I believe in your God? And when I ask why should I believe in your God, I do not mean to insinuate that you are forcing me to believe in your God, and I already know that I don't have to. I'm just asking for reasonable justification.
The only reasonable justification I have come to conclude on my own is that creation needs a creator.
Sure, but I'm not convinced that the universe is a creation.
Not the universe. Human beings.
I'm not convinced that human beings are a creation.
Got it. Well, how the frick did we get here?
Well, I got here through sex.
Yeah, but there was a first human, and then that first human had to be created.
There was not a first human. It's like, and let me explain to you why there wasn't a first human. This is something that most people don't seem to understand. So because the fact that through evolution we came about via natural selection, we slowly evolved from other species. Homo sapiens came from Homo erectus, but there was never a point in history where there was like a Homo erectus that gave birth to a Homo sapien. Rather, the changes were slow and progressive, very, very slow and gradual. I mean, that you never get a first human. It's like asking on a scale when you start with black and it goes to white, and you slice that up into 1,000 slivers. At what point do you get the first white? You really don't. It just slowly, gradually changes. So there was not a first human.
I can understand that, but I mean, how are you on Earth? Are you going to prove it?
But through evidence, like we can look at the fossil record and also the genomic evidence for evolution.
Neanderthals, that we still have part of our population that is like 1%, especially that of like European descent. So we can see that individuals within Homo sapiens species actually contain the DNA of other populations that came before us.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, there are like 3 different ones that were kind of coinciding at the same time. Us, Neanderthals, and I think it was another one, and we just we kind of beat them out. Essentially, we fit a more niche like environment. We
So how did you observe this DNA? I don't understand. How do you observe it? It's a molecule. It's too small.
You want to know how scientists observe DNA?
Yeah, how is it observed? Because we have to see it to believe it, and then
you can do this experiment at home with, I think it's with soap and a fish tank. Matthew, you're in the comment section. I think you know this experiment that I'm talking about. You may be able to describe it better than I can.
Like a see DNA at home.
Fluorescent microscopy is how they observe DNA. Do fluorescent microscopy.
Yeah, but there's like a way that you can like separate it. It's like it's not as difficult as you might think it is. Let me look it up.
My thing is like, how do you observe it? Because you can use some type of microscope, but listen.
Fluorescent microscopy. You can.
It's too small. That light doesn't reflect off of the molecule because the molecules are too small.
It's not.
So how can you observe DNA?
It's not just a molecule. It's a collection of molecules. So it's not. I would understand if we were talking about a singular molecule, then you would have a point. But DNA is not just a singular molecule.
Matthew is really good at explaining this topic. We're talking about observing DNA, and I know there's like a way to, in like a home science experiment, that you can like kind of extract DNA in a way that you can see it. I think it's with like dish soap or something, but I could be wrong on that. Matthew, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's typically done with some type of fruit, like a strawberry or something along those lines, and then you use dish soap. It breaks down the cellular structure, and you can actually get basically it's clumps of these ribonucleic acids, and then It's the DNA of the fruit. Now you can't see the individual strands, but you can see the DNA. Now, if you wanted to see individual strands of DNA, you are going to need to use much more precise measurements, much more precise observation equipment, but we can do so in a lab. It's not that difficult. We do so quite often. That's how we test people's DNAs for things like the Human Genome Project, or if we're trying to match people's family members. Well, we do it all the time.
So I hear that, but at the same time, I'm like, I mean, can you really observe it as an individual strand of DNA?
There's pictures of it on the screen right now.
Oh, those are 3D models. I don't see.
Nope, this is not a 3D model.
Picture.
It's not a 3D
Those
model.
those are photographs actually.
It might be enhanced.
Okay, then,
they're probably enhanced, but those are it's a real photograph.
Okay, just off of a pivot, you guys believe in morals and ethics?
Yes, and I don't think you can get there with a god, especially not with you.
Wait.
Your god is like a deist god. It's not the Christian god.
Yeah.
Your god hasn't ever dictated anything.
Yeah, he doesn't prescribe morals or ethics.
Yeah, so it is a strange.
That's why ethics and morals aren't real, though.
They exist. They're just all subjective. But again,
no, they don't.
This is not gonna.
No,
this
if
is
something
not.
exists subjectively, it doesn't exist.
It does exist subjectively. Yes, I have morals.
It
They
doesn't.
are subjective.
Because it's not. Okay, where are your morals? Are they? Can you touch them? Can you feel them?
They're right here.
Where are they?
In my brain.
In your mind.
Yes, they exist.
To exist.
So also another thing that is not real, that cannot be observed.
I'm convinced
that's not what it means to exist.
maybe your mind doesn't exist.
What
but
it
mine
means to exist?
Maybe your mind doesn't exist, but mine definitely does.
No, it doesn't. It's not in this reality.
What do you think the word? What do you
think?
think the word exist means?
It means to be in this reality, which is what
Okay,
you can touch, see, feel.
My
and
mind
hear.
exists within this. Well, you don't have to directly be able to touch something for it to exist.
Hey, that would leave out a lot of so truth. Can you touch truth?
No.
Okay.
truth doesn't
Does it
exist.
exist?
Correct. It doesn't exist.
So your God doesn't exist.
That's absurd. That's absolutely
That's your
absurd.
opinion.
No. Well, no.
Can you touch, feel your God?
Is it true that your God exists?
No.
Well, thank you. I think that's.
Well, that's why
I guess you're an atheist now.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Matthew. I didn't remember the exact experiment. I knew there was one, so I was like, I know who would know this. you.
You heard it here first, folks. It is not true that his God exists. All right. I got a super chat here. From
at Bjorn Hartmeyer with the 20 Danish Krones. W to Bjorn Hartmeyer being the first super chatter of the day.
And just for a notice, I did invite Matthew up, but we are trying to keep the panel small. We've been getting complaints on it. Matthew, it's up to Dalton whether you're able to say, but I did invite Matthew, so.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it to only 2 friendlies at any specific time. Only 2 friendlies at the most. So, now we are max friendlies right now. All right. Let's see. Do we have anyone who wants to come up? We got here Kay with a guitar. Kay, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18? Okay. Okay. Okay, are you in the room with us? Okay.
It sounds like they're showering.
Yeah.
And sorry for my background noise. I'm on the 2nd floor and it is pouring rain, so I'm trying to stay muted as much as possible.
David Orbit says, hey, Dalton, can I call in with a quick question? Sure, call in with a quick question. What the heck? Jesus fucking Christ. $20, I'll let you see whatever you want. $50 and you can touch it. David, welcome back to the show, David. What's your question today?
So I recently found out that the Dead Sea Scrolls describes 2 messiahs.
Sort of.
And
yeah.
Oh, sort of? Because I was coming across the Messiah of Aaron and the Messiah of Israel.
Yeah, the thing is, the problem with talking about the Messiah is that so definite article. Most of the time he talks about an anointed son of Joseph. And it's not Joseph, anointed son of Aaron and an anointed son of Judah. And we sometimes will translate that as like Messiah, capital M, but in Hebrew, it both just simply the word Mashiach just means anointed, and there are no capital letters in Hebrew. So whether or not one chooses to make it the word Messiah and chooses to capitalize it, there is an idea that there is an anointed son of Aaron because, well, all priests are anointed. Therefore, every priest would be a Mashiach bin Aharon, an anointed son of Aaron. But like, whether or not it's a Messiah as we would understand it, might be anachronistic when applying to the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Okay, so you don't think that the Christians ended up collapsing those 2 roles into a single figure?
They probably did collapse them because they're both anointed. So like if Jesus is said to be anointed, so taking an individual who's known as being an anointed son of Aaron, having special priestly roles, especially connected with Melchizedek, probably was collapsed into Jesus.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to add that to my notes. Do you think that, like, they tried if they tried to collapse the roles into Jesus, do you think that they did kind of a poor job at that?
I don't. That would imply that there's some sort of like way of doing it well. I don't think that they were, and I don't know whether or not they were intentionally intending to do so, or was it just that these are ideas that are circling around within the zeitgeist of their time, and thus the ideas just came naturally to them that Jesus would function in this way because it was already sort of in the air, if you will.
Okay, interesting.
It's really hard to put motives onto the shoulders of the biblical authors, especially in the New Testament.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding.
Yeah. I always try to withhold judgment on that.
I think it translates to spirit of the time in German, but I could be incorrect on that.
Yeah, yes, that is right. Spirit of the time, zeitgeist, yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate it.
All right, happy to help, David. Have a wonderful day.
Have a good show.
Josh in the comment section says, guys, please DM me if you have questions about God or need help in your relationship. Well, guys, if you want real answers about God without all the religious bias that Josh is going to give you, feel free to call into the Bible Guy show.
Is my mic a little better? I put a sock over it because my windscreen's missing.
Oh, yeah, it's a little bit better, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let's see. Hey. Whoa, you guys, the shares are terrible. Let's get that up for the Holy Spirit. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, we're at only 3.9 thousand likes. 130 people in here? That seems disproportional. So everyone make sure you're tapping that screen so we can get the live out there and get into the algorithm.
Also, if you're on YouTube, you can also hit that like button. Even if some people know that they can go over and join TikTok and come in. So YouTube, you're not without being able to help as well. Also, super chats support the channel as well if you can afford it. Dalton getting paid is only determined by super chats essentially, and some viewership as well. But it would improve the channel because this viewing experience is brought by viewers like you.
Josh says the Antichrist is in us, and this is the world we are in. So sad. Josh, the Antichrist doesn't exist. Neither does your God. But Josh, you're more than welcome to call in to provide evidence that your God exists. Thank you for the announcement. Let's see.
I know it's awkward to ask people to send in super chats. That would feel so awkward to me.
Yeah. Literally tells only reason there is any good on earth is God, as humans are like Satan trying to, except for like God is a reason for a lot of the bad in the world. So, all right, we're gonna talk to you to the Artist 6. The Artist 6. I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get into the conversation. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
10-4, 10-4.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
All right, 1 second. Where did I put that? Oh, there we go. And question number 3: do you believe in a God, and if so, which God?
The Christian God, Jesus Christ.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Why should I believe in your God? And when I ask, why should I believe in your God, I am not insinuating that you are attempting to force me to believe in your God. And I already know I don't have to believe in your God. I'm just asking for justified reasons to think your God exists.
All right. That's cool. Why should you believe in God? I would say your intelligence, man. If I had to literally answer that, your intelligence, because I've seen a lot of people try to debunk the Bible or, break it down. I've seen a lot, and not just all over TikTok, but just in, let's just say 36 years of life. You're good.
What about people who are unintelligent? Should they not believe in God?
No, I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I think they maybe should be guided. I think if anything, I wouldn't want to convince you to come to Christ. I kind of would want to guide you. There would be a little difference.
So my intelligence is the reason why I don't believe in God. I think I read the Bible. I studied it. I studied it. I learned the original languages, and it's because of how well I know the Bible is the reason I cannot believe that your God is real or that Jesus is the Christ.
Did you study the Apocryphes also?
The Apocrypha?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, nice. All the Jubilees, everything?
I barely paid attention to Book of Jubilees. I read first Enoch. I read Tobit, Judith, the books that are part of the standard Deuterocanonical text.
Did you do
I read the
Book
Talmud.
of the Covenant 1 or 2?
No, I didn't pay attention to those because even when I was Christian, I knew that they were forgeries.
Yeah, I get it too. Yeah. No, I'm the same way, man. For the longest time, I grew up in this stuff, so it was more for me indoctrinated in, and unfortunately, I didn't trust it. I didn't trust it as a little kid, and even now, I still battle and wrestle with it because of the indoctrination, unfortunately. But that's just me, and some of the things that have been happening to me in my life lately, and just me though, I can compare them to supernatural stuff, man, and which is weird. But like I said, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just trying to guide you, man, because there's a lot of false witnesses out here right now. And I'm talking about like...
Is the New Testament a false witness?
Depending on how you use it, I've seen preachers use it for money. Like pistol whipping people for money.
I use the New Testament to ascertain the meaning of the New Testament.
Well, I get it, but have you seen? I don't mean to break off subject or anything like that. I'm trying to pull this all in. Have you seen that Paula White chick? She literally went on stage in a Christian revival and asking for $100,000. You can't say that's not false.
We're familiar with prosperity gospel. We're very familiar with it.
I rejected prosperity gospel when I was a Christian. I still
Yeah,
reject
me
the new.
too.
I still reject the New
I
Testament.
still do. I still do
But
too. I still do too because
my problem with Christianity had nothing to do with the New Testament. Had nothing to do with prosperity gospel, though.
what do you think about Amos and what it says in 5:18? What do you
does it
think
say?
about that?
What does it say in Amos 5:18?
It says about the day of the Lord. I can't give you specifically what it says. I can off the top of my head I can say he's going to come back with darkness. Do you agree on that?
No,
And
because
not light?
that would require that that the Lord even exists.
Yeah,
Woe
I
to
know.
you who desire
And
the day of the Lord. Who do you want? Why do you want the day of the Lord? It is darkness, not light. Yeah, it's irrelevant because I mean, I think it's bad that a lot of Christians want the world to end because it means that they're not taking care of the planet as a result, and they're generally shit people as a result. But this is completely
Absolutely.
this is completely irrelevant to whether or not God exists.
I think it does. The only reason why is because if we're in total darkness, and I'm not just saying
We're
like
not.
society, I think we are metaphorically.
We're not
We're in darkness.
metaphorically. We're
I would-
we're not in complete darkness. I mean, there's lots of dark in the world. I would say religion, like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, provides a lot of darkness. I think
the artists, we live longer, are healthier, have some of the highest quality of life, despite even our current state of the United States government, than ever before in history. We have medicine, which is supported by science. We have an access to information, while not all technology obviously is good. We're less violent, at least that's what the data seems to support, than any other time in history. I don't understand what you're saying, that we're in darkness, when you say metaphorically.
Okay, if you look at the world, right now, society, if you look at just anything, let's just say pick Islam for instance. Look at the people and the culture and what they're doing to each other right now. You don't think
You
that's
mean
darkness?
you mean what Israel is doing to the Middle East?
Yes. You don't think that's darkness?
I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good. I don't know that I would call it darkness, but I would say that there are times that we've had war all throughout history where genocide was the case. That's always been how human behavior is. I don't know what reference point you're coming from, but it seems to be naive to all of human history, where we've always had tribalism, we've always had war, but now at least we have medicines. Like, we don't have to deal with babies dying because of infections for the most part because of the antibiotics. We don't have children dying of diabetes at young age because of insulin. Like, there are tons of ways in which we survive. And overall, it's getting better and not worse. Now, we may have some little dips right here and there, but the Middle East and what Israel is doing is obviously awful. But if you compare it to all the history of war that we've had in the past, I don't know. I mean, think back to World War I and World War II. How devastating those were.
I get it. That's the past and the history. But I'm talking about now.
I reject this premise that we are living in darkness. I reject it because of the things that Ashlyn just said. We're living at the best time it is to be a human being in history.
Are you kidding me right now?
I'm not even close to kidding. Do you know what happens? Let's go back 100 years ago. What happens if I get like measles? What happens to me?
You're gonna get sick and you're probably gonna die.
What happens if I get measles now?
There's a cure for it.
Oh man, that's great.
I don't think there's a cure for measles.
Yeah, there's
but I could be wrong.
Well, they could probably get a treatment. But what I'm trying to say is
I could have died from tuberculosis. I think morally also we're far better than we are now than we used to be.
The reason why I brought up darkness is because people choose to either bring darkness onto someone or their self, or bring light onto someone or their self. The reason why I say that the darkness,
this is nothing. This means nothing to me. Like,
yeah,
like when people do bad and they do evil, most of the time they don't think they're doing bad and they're doing evil. They don't have the intention of bringing darkness on anyone. But again, morally speaking, we're in a better time than we've ever been. More people are aware of like empathy and of like being kind to each other and of helping each other more so now than any other time in history. None of this gets me even 1% closer.
That's
to
a lie,
that,
and I can prove it.
It's not a lie.
That's a lie, and I can prove it.
It's not a lie.
Hey, our artist, our artist. Do you think that slavery was a good time?
No. Hang on. Let me.
Do you think that?
Let me prove that real quick.
Do you think that slavery was a good
anything
time?
you gotta say.
For example,
I'll answer anything you gotta say. Let me prove this real quick.
If I go back 100 years ago and ask people about slavery, do you think more people are in favor of slavery today, or were they more in favor of slavery 100 years ago?
$100 years ago, but at the same time, even now, slavery is happening now.
How about women? I didn't ask if it was happening now. It was happening more in the past, and we're more against it today. Now, misogyny.
Are you kidding me?
Misogyny.
What about
misogyny? More people today. More people today.
Let's just say marital rape.
Yeah, more people today recognize that marital rape is not an okay thing. If I went back 100 years ago, do you think more or less people would agree with that statement?
Less, of course. It's common sense, you know. But what I'm saying is about what I'm going back to what I was saying.
How about interracial marriage?
Look, you've changed the subject 3 different times.
I haven't changed the subject. We're talking about how today we are morally better than we were 100 years ago. And 100 years ago, we were morally superior than we were 500 years ago. We're slowly getting better.
Let me show you how morally superior we are right now. Check this out. Elon Musk, and I'm just pointing out one person, even though it's a predominant name. What I'm saying is there's thousands, literally thousands of millionaires and billionaires in the world, but that could literally change a country and save a country, but they choose not to use their finances to.
And the
why?
And the total populace? Do you think the total populace?
Do you think it's better?
Do you think the total populace? Do you think the total populace? Do you chill out? You're crashing out really hard. Do you think the total populace is? Oh, he ran away.
RJ, the food back then was not a lot healthier. We ate when we lived for a less time. Back, 100,000 years ago, everything was organic. We lived to below the age of 35. Now, not everything is technically organic, but we live longer. There's no correlation between health and organics, first off. But second, when it comes down to Elon Musk, we've always had the Rockefellers. We've always had this. What do you think the French Revolution was about? What do you think these revolutions have always been about? Rising up. It just so happens that when you get a bunch of people who are like the United States, who are in good times, they pay less attention to these laws. And so these laws get bought up and supported by lobbyists. And then it goes into this like ebbs and flow of times of who has the power. And it's always been those who have money, right? That's not without a doubt. Power, money yields you power. In most governmental forms, but we have.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
I thought you were done. Keep going.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't mean that the vast majority of the population itself lends itself to worse morals. That you would have to know what this standard of moral is and what we are talking about, what our goal is. And then we would have to talk about, does the society itself tend to enhance or decrease from this factor?
Ice Cream Assassin 3006 said very well in the YouTube comment. He only thinks it's worse today because we have a front row seat with internet media. Like, yeah, the world's always been bad. We're just more aware now of how bad it was because we're more connected to information. Why you use flames and got Bible guy? Because it's funny. But yeah, we're more aware of how bad things are because of like how connected we are to the world. Doesn't mean the world is getting worse. It just means that you are now more knowledgeable about how bad things are. But we're also knowledgeable about how good things are getting as well. We should consider ourselves lucky that we get to live in the big 2026. Another super chat
here from Bjorn Hartmeyer with another 50 Danish krones. My cat says she is watching with me. She is also an atheist, although I do worship her.
Well, to that I say to your cat, pss, 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 pss. That was just for them. Don't backpedal. Who's backpedaling? RJ. Also, RJ is, y'all see him over on YouTube. Y'all can see RJ's comment right here. RJ right here is obsessed with the Bible guy. They always comment, but they never come up because they're terrified. They're just obsessed and cowardless.
If RJ, you just asked me if I was vegan. What are you, like, I don't understand what your conversation is ever about. You just come in here and say nonsense, and then, like, you just word vomit all over the chat.
That is the RJ way. You just say nonsense, and then you hope eventually it'll make sense. That's not just RJ, that's the Christian way.
I would love to be vegan, Kyle. I try very hard to be vegan, but I'm pollo pescatarian. Like, I'll still eat chicken and fish, but I don't like push it on other people. I do think it is the ethical way, but that's my opinion.
Yeah. As soon as I start making the money, and I can, and I'm the one who's primarily buying the groceries where I live, I'd probably be moving more in that direction. Anyways, let's see. I agree, but I'm a hypocrite. So yeah, I'm a hypocrite. I avoid Red 40 like the plague.
Do you have hyperactivity, Brianna? It has been, Red 40 has been demonstrated to, unlike sugar has not been demonstrated. There seems to be this like excitation in children when they eat sugary snacks. That's the, but there's not a lot of significance. But Red 40 actually can cause hyperactivity.
RJ the Unfuckable. Yep, that's who they are. All right, well, it looks like we're at the hour mark, so I'm going to do a quick restart, and then we'll get right back to the show, and hopefully we'll get some more theist callers who would love to give us a good reason for why we should believe in their God. So just hold on and come right back, folks. All right. Hi, YouTube people. Just us. Just me and you. Cozy, huh? You're looking real sexy today. You're looking real fine. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. All right. Starting the live again. Yes, join the Bible Guide Discord, as YouTube Punk says. Everyone should do that. The more people I get in the Discord, the more likely I am to do Discord things, like book club, etc. Thank you, Bjorn. Much appreciated. You know, one day when I'm what's a raise when you make nothing? That's the question, Liquid. One of these days. One day when I'm making serious baller money, I would love to be able to do things like that. Debate Bryce Crawford or Philip Mitchell. Never heard of them, but they're more than welcome to call into the show. Supernatural watch parties? Yeah, for sure. Oh, we got here Truth Talks 27. Truth Talks, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yep.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him. Yeah, just he, him.
And question number 3, do you worship of God, and if so, which God?
I do, the Christian God.
All right. why should I believe in your God? And when I say that, why should I believe in your God? What I do not mean is that I do not insinuate that you are trying to force me. And I also am aware of the fact that I do not have to believe in your God. I would just like a rational justification for why I should think your God exists.
Cool. Did we talk yesterday, or I was in this live stream yesterday? I don't know if did we talk or not. I can't remember.
Definitely not, because I was not on TikTok yesterday.
Maybe it might have been the day before, because I remember seeing you here. I will say that. It might have been the day before. Anyways, why I brought that up was I was hearing a guy talk about an argument that I like to use, and you guys kind of refuted it, but I kind of want to say why you guys are wrong, or why he was kind of saying it in the wrong way. And I think you said he was appealing to the composition fallacy, where it's like if one brick is small, this brick is small, the whole wall is small. That's not what he was trying to say, but that's what you guys were saying he was saying. So I'll get into what he was saying. So there's three words: potentiality or potency, actuality, and contingency. Do you remember this? Do you remember this guy?
Yep. I think the entire universe, I believe in B theory of time, so all moments in time are actual. They're not they don't have any potential. They are all actual, all actually existing at all moments of time. And as far as I can tell, the universe has always existed. I've been given no good reason to think that it has a definite beginning.
Okay, I'll give you an argument for why I don't think the universe is eternal, okay?
All right.
So I don't think an infinite past is actually possible, because there's infinite events before we could get to today. But I want to give you an example. I'm going to give you an example, okay?
Well, that's the problem, because with B theory of time, you don't have to get to today. Today is already real.
Well, no, but there was a day before. There's yesterday, right? And there's a day before that.
Well, you're thinking you're thinking as if A theory is true, where the
Can you explain the difference? I've watched William Lane Craig and Alex O'Connor talk about this. I'm not too educated on A theory versus B theory.
In A theory of time, the only thing that exists is the present. The future, the past used to exist and doesn't anymore. The future will exist but doesn't yet. And you have to travel from point A to point B to point C. You have to traverse time. Under B theory, there's no traversal, because all moments of time, past, present, and future, all exist right now. So us moving through time is merely illusionary.
What do you mean by, so the future exists right now? How does that?
It's as real.
Can you explain that one?
Yeah, in B theory, block theory of time, all moments of time are purely actual.
Well, I'm just wondering how. Can you like you're telling me what it means? I just explain how the future exists. It's the same as the present.
Yeah. If I would have to, the problem isn't explaining it, because I'm not a physicist, but I do know that this happens to be the consensus view amongst physicists that B theory is true, and it's kind of necessitated by the fact that, Edward's limit, because of time dilation, the fact that two different people can experience time in different ways, some living moments quicker than the other due to time dilation, kind of necessitates that B theory is real.
I messaged Quantanaut.
Oh yeah, we'll see if Quantanaut gets here.
Also, what I wanted to ask too was, why does, again, A theory or B theory of time, can you just kind of explain to me why the past, what do you mean the past wouldn't have to have an infinite event? Because I feel like yesterday was an event, right? I think the day before that was an event.
You have memory of the past.
And by the way, I found the note on my laptop that I made. This is their premise 1. Anything with parts have potency. P2, anything with actuality and potency require outside cause. P3, anything with material has parts, therefore has an active potency. Conclusion: the universe requires an outside cause.
Well, no, sorry. That P3 is that P3. The P3 for me, my premise 3 is anything that has a cause is contingent on that cause.
Yeah, but that's with those you're still running composition fallacy.
No, because it's not saying the universe has parts, so the universe is this. It's saying the universe is changing. The universe itself is changing
Oh yeah,
That's
it's
not
just
what
the.
they said, though.
That's what they says. They said what Ashton just said. But
that's what they said. That is absolutely the composition fallacy.
now,
No, I don't know.
That is what they said. Now we can stop talking about them and we can just talk about your argument. Hello.
I can hear you.
I can hear you, Dalton.
Hello.
I can hear you.
I can hear you, Dalton.
All right.
Okay. Can you explain to me the composition fallacy then? Because I don't think it's a composition fallacy. I think I'm.
Oh my God.
Just explain to me.
I do not listen. We're not talking about whatever the last guest that you think we're talking about.
Well, no, that's one of my arguments too.
You think? Well, do you think that the entire universe, as a universe as a whole, is contingent just because the parts are?
No, I'm saying it's made up of parts, and those things have potency. So the universe itself has potential to be different. It has potency.
Well, why do we think it? Well, that would imply that the future is yet to happen and that the past isn't here anymore.
What do you mean?
It would that only works if a theory of time is true.
That the universe has potential to be different, like it can change.
Yes, that implies a theory of time to be true, which I've yet to. I hold to B theory.
Yeah, you would also have to establish that the causes can come outside of space and time.
I'm not understanding the A theory and B theory thing. So what do you mean that if the universe has potential to be different, like how does that have anything to do with B theory and A theory?
Because
I'm honestly trying to get educated right now.
That implies that the future doesn't actually exist yet. When in reality, the future is just as actual as the present. It's not potential. Oh, Continent's here.
I'm not understanding how the future is more actual than the present or the same.
I have a physicist.
I'll watch some more. I'll watch some more. I
have a physicist friend here. He might be able to explain it better. I got to message someone real quick.
Yeah, because I'm more eager to learn about this. Is this your friend?
So yeah, according to special relativity, which we have experimentally confirmed to be true, both the past, present, and future are all equally real as each other. You can think of it like one big block of a four-dimensional space-time.
So like to me, like the future, like me in 20 years, that's just as actual as me right now?
Yes.
But I haven't got there yet.
I mean, not this slice of you, but you are a four-dimensional object, and you extend out into the future and past.
Yes, but I haven't gotten to me being 20 years old yet. It's just potential.
There's no such thing as getting to places because, as I said, all moments are equally real. The perception of moving through time is something of an illusion.
Either I'm not understanding or I just disagree, but I don't think that me in 20 years is equal as to me right now because I'm
then
happening
you're
right now.
disagreeing with Einstein. That's just what that is.
Well, I'm also agreeing
because
with
of something called the relativity of simultaneity. Essentially, different observers moving at different speeds will, like, say you have two objects that are moving relative to each other. One object will perceive events from the past and or future of what the other object perceives to be as their present. And since neither of those perspectives are preferred over the other, they're both equally real.
I'm just not sure I'm following, to be honest with you. I'll look more into B theory versus A theory.
Look up the relativity of simultaneity, and that will explain it.
I've heard of the thing where, like, if you move at a different speed, at a speed close to the speed of light, that you age differently, you age slower.
It's related to that. It's related to that. Yes.
Again, if you can try to make it more simple for me, can you explain how that has something to do with, like, the future is just as actual as the present is right now? You know, because like
so the typical thought experiment that people run is, say that there are two lightning rods and like a little photosensor in the middle between the two, and from that little photosensor in the middle, say those two lightning strikes happen simultaneously. So they both hit the lightning rods on either side at the same time. But now if you're on a train moving past it, it will perceive to you like the two lightning strikes happen at different times. Like one happens in the future, one happens in the past at a certain moment. So from the perspective of the train, you know, the two lightning strikes happen like one in the future, one in the past, but from the perspective of outside the train, the two lightning strikes happen at the same time, like in the present.
Are you saying
and
it happens?
These are wrong, and so therefore all moments in time are as equally valid as any other moment.
So are you saying like because the train is moving from side to side, it appears that one will happen
It
before
doesn't
the
just
other?
appear. It genuinely is like not simultaneous in that frame of reference. One event is actually before the other. One is in the past, one is in the future. From that perspective.
Because like it takes distance for one to travel versus the other.
It's
like
not
that?
just a distance, it's a matter of time dilation. So time is actually passing differently for one object versus the other.
Okay. Well, I'll thank you. I'll look more into A theory, B theory time. I know you obviously know William Lane Craig. I know he talks a lot about this. He kind of debated. I was watching his debate with Alex O'Connor.
Matthew
But I
says,
think
Matthew says Dr. Blitz has a good video on this he posted just a couple days ago. And on top of that,
Nice.
there's a really great video explaining B theory time from Korgazak in a nutshell, the channel called Block Theory.
Also, Quantanaut, this individual was having it sounded like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Truth, an issue with regression, and that's how we got on this subject. Do you have anything to say about why it's not really a problem?
Like how I was saying the universe can't be eternal because there's. Well, you said your answer was like there's B theory at time, and that doesn't.
But
equate.
now that we have an
if
expert
all
on-
moments are equally real, you don't have to actually traverse an infinite amount of time. That's not really an issue. It's just an infinitely large object. In the same way that the universe can be infinitely large in size, it can also be infinitely large in time. That's just
So,
a
like,
different
when I was
dimension it can be
saying-
large in.
Okay, but my other point is then, how are we able to like get here? Because if you go back an hour, then you keep
That's
going back
what I'm
an
saying.
hour.
There is no getting anywhere. It's just a single object. It all exists.
But would you
It's
agree
like
then
the
if you
time,
could you
or it's like
divide?
the
can
number
you-
line all exists, right? You don't have to define all the numbers individually from negative infinity to 0 to get to 1. They just all exist.
But you can divide by events or hours, or you can split it up into this is like this much time.
That's the thing. Like, Quantanaut, tell me if I'm wrong on this, and this is an analogy that I heard. There are an infinite number of parts between 0 and 1. If
Yep.
it were true that regression wasn't possible, then you would never be able to get to 0 to 1.
See, my problem with that argument is that's implying that 0 is the starting point. All you have to do is replace
It wouldn't
replace
matter.
0.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
No,
It doesn't
replace-
matter. You could also between 1 and 2 or any two numbers.
No. I'm saying replace 0 with infinity.
No, but
and
you
then
don't.
do the same
Why would we do that?
You don't understand. You don't understand the problem. How many?
Like, I've heard this-
How many decimals are there between any two numbers?
An infinite number.
How do you get from one number to the next then?
I'll do another analogy too. It's the same problem. So it's like a turtle walking to a wall. It has to half that distance, then half that distance again, and keep half.
You don't. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I
Exactly.
think my
This
problem
has been
with that-
solved by calculus, by taking limits.
My problem with that is, I think the difference is the turtle is starting somewhere. Time didn't start anywhere. Or if it did, the argument is that time.
You can have an infinite series that has a finite sum, but that's not a problem.
My issue is this. I'm trying to think of it more simple than just that. But if the turtle infinite distance to hit the wall, it can still hit the wall. But if it starts, I don't want to say starts, but if it's infinitely like away, like replace the distance with like infinitely, I don't see how it can hit the wall.
It could have just been moving for all of time.
But there would still be more distance.
for each point in space or for each point in time, you could define a unique position that it could have been. So you don't actually get any contradiction. It's well defined mathematically.
What do you mean?
I'm not sure how else I could phrase that.
So,
it's just
would you say
if the turtle's moving at 1 meters per second for all of time, and it hits the wall at t=0, then for every moment in time, you could define a point in space where the turtle was at.
I'm saying the turtle wouldn't be able to hit the wall. Because here, let me ask you this question.
You can define at x=0,
let me ask you this
x=0 is the
question.
wall, and it hits it at t=0, and you can define for all of time, infinitely going back forever, unique positions based on the fact that it was going 1 meters per second for all of time. So at t=-1, it was at x=-1. For t=-2, it was at x=-2, and so on and so on. So
let me ask you a question to help
well-defined.
clear up my position. So let's say a turtle is 10 feet from a wall. Is that an infinite distance from the wall or a finite distance?
That's finite. There's no such thing as being an infinite distance. Because infinity is not a number.
So it's illogical for me to say then I'm just replacing that with the turtle as an infinite distance away?
That's a nonsensical statement. You can't be an infinite distance away from anything because infinity is not a number.
I let up Styx, even though we are limited to do friendlies, just because this individual is generally curious and Styx is sometimes really good at talking to people. But after this guest, we are trying to limit to 2, just FYI.
Totally, yeah. I figured I'd just come up and give this 1 point and then drop. Because Truth, what you're talking about seems to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to be what you're saying is that what's called an actual infinity can't obtain in reality. Is that fair to say? Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm arguing.
So you're saying that it's metaphysically impossible for there to be an actual infinity of discrete moments of time. But what I'd ask you is how many mathematical facts does God know in his mind?
I do not know the mind of God. Probably all the ones that are true. I don't know.
Yeah, you would know an infinite set of mathematical facts, right? Which is considered an actual infinity, right? It's not a potential infinity, it's an actual infinity. So why I'm mentioning this is because if God knows these mathematical facts and God exists in reality, then there exists in reality an infinite set, an actualized set of mathematical facts. Now, if God could map each of these mathematical facts onto a discrete moment of time in reality, which is to say, if he took 1 + 1 = 2 and mapped that onto a moment, and then 1 + 2 = 3 and mapped that onto a moment, and did that for all of the mathematical facts that God knows, then that's an actual infinity that is instantiated in reality. So it doesn't seem like there's metaphysical limitations on an actual infinity obtaining. Because if what you want to say is that can't happen, then what you're actually inadvertently saying is God can't know an infinite set of mathematical facts.
Funnily enough, he would actually have mathematical facts left over, even if he did map it onto an infinite timeline. This is a weird thing about the cardinality of infinities.
Right. So it doesn't seem it might be counterintuitive to the mind, but even on your view, it seems as though an actual infinity can obtain in reality, if we're just defining reality as the set of all things that actually exists. Assuming you think God's mind
hold on,
actually
what would you
exists.
define reality as? Sorry?
I would define reality as the set of all things that actually exist, right? Conceptually, concretely, abstractly, everything like that. And God's mind, I'm not saying God's mind exists as a concrete thing, but God's mind exists in reality. And if he has within his mind the set of all mathematical facts, he could map those facts onto discrete moments of time, which is an actual infinity that obtains.
Also, not to mention, you probably wouldn't have the same objection to the universe being infinitely large in size.
Yeah, you could map those facts onto objects. There could be an infinite amount of objects, right?
The universe is expanding, correct?
Yeah. But it can also be infinitely large as well. Those two are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, okay. I have another question. Then. You guys are obviously way smarter than me. I've seen a lot of people bring up the second law of thermodynamics, to kind of show why the universe wouldn't be infinite?
The second law of thermodynamics does not apply to cosmological scales.
Doesn't it apply to closed systems?
Thank you, Sticks.
So the universe
thank
is
you. That was
technically
helpful.
not a closed system. But to define that, so a closed system is sort of a archaic terminology. It just means that energy is conserved. That is just generally what it means. Historically, we use the term closed system because classically a system only conserves energy if it doesn't let things interact. That's actually not really true anymore. You can have systems that do not conserve energy that are actually like quote unquote closed and that nothing is like escaping it, for example.
Wait, so the universe
But it turns
is
out our
not
universe
closed system?
our universe is not a closed system in the sense that it does not conserve energy. I'm not saying that things leave the universe, because the term closed system is kind of archaic and has that implication. But for the point of thermodynamics requires that systems conserve energy for the laws to be valid, but the universe as a whole does not conserve energy.
Okay, cool. I'm curious to learn, so that's why I'm in these things.
If you're curious to dive into that further, you could look up something called Noether's theorem. Noether.
Cool.
Well, True Talks, thank you for calling into the live, and hopefully we'll have another conversation about whether or not your God's real another day.
Cool.
I'll hop down as well. Gotta get back to work.
I need you to send me another screenshot of the name of that one book you recommended to me about the origin of the universe. Was it you? Or was it Blitz who suggested it to me?
Yeah, I think it was Blitz, because he's recommended a book that I've been meaning to read as well, which is Battle of the Bangs, I think it's called.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. All right, Battle of the Bangs. Send me a screenshot of it if you can find it, and so that way I don't forget.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud. All right.
Of course. All right,
Thank you, Quantonaut.
Yeah. See ya.
All right. Well,
someone said, what if you're actually wrong about God? What if he does exist? Well, what if I spit in one hand and wish in the other? Which one fills up faster?
What if frogs had wings? Then they wouldn't bump their asses a hopping. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? That question of what if God is real? What if it turns out that Zeus is real? What if it turns out Odin is real? What if it turns out... It's kind of a pointless question to ask. All right. Well, I was going to bring up 3 Kid because they kept asking to come up, but now they're not here. So I'll bring up Boxing Glove. Boxing Glove, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation at hand. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
What pronouns I am a him.
And question number 3, do you believe in a God, and if so, which God?
I believe in God and Jesus Christ.
All right.
And here's why.
Well, yeah, say one last thing, and then we'll get to it. Why should I believe in your God? And by why should I believe in your God, I do not mean to insinuate that you are trying to force me to believe in your God. And I also am aware that I don't have to believe in your God. I would just like a reasonable justification for your God's existence.
Okay. So first, can I ask you why you don't believe in God?
Because no one's giving me a good reason to.
Okay. So do you believe that we have to prove it? Like, do you believe that we have to like show actual like
Evidence?
visible proof? Yes.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be visible. It just has to be any bit of evidence that would demonstrate to me in some way that the God does in fact exist.
Okay. So do you believe that George Washington exists?
Yes, we have his teeth, we have his clothes, we have actual handwritten notes from him. We even know exactly where he was buried and where his body's at right now. We have written correspondence signed by people who actually knew him. We don't have anything like that for God.
Yeah, we have that stuff with Jesus though.
We do not. We do not.
We
do not
we
have
have-
Jesus' teeth. We do not have Jesus' clothes. We do not know where
We
Jesus
don't have
was
his-
buried.
we don't have his
We don't
clothes,
have
and we don't
anything
have his
written
teeth,
by
but-
Jesus, nor do we have anything written by people who knew him signed.
Or even hey, we're not mythicists. Even if Jesus was a person, it doesn't demonstrate God. So we will grant you that Jesus existed, That's not the issue here.
Okay, so okay. So about God, I'm just forget about Jesus and talk about God. So, and my reason is I don't believe that life can come from no life. Like like a child comes from his mother. I don't believe that life can come from non-life.
Well,
At least
here's the problem with that. That's the only possible way life could have originally came about, because, and here's the reason why. I have evidence, an abundance of evidence, that nature does exist. I don't have any evidence that the supernature exists. Therefore, out of all the possible things that could be the origin of life, it has to be something natural. And I happen to know that life didn't exist at the beginning of the universe, and it does exist now. So life had to come about through a natural process of life from non-life, unless you can demonstrate that the supernatural exists.
Give me 1 second, Rainbow. I just messaged Scientific Snitch as well. Abiogenesis is also something that we're very familiar with. There's an abundance of evidence about the processes of abiogenesis, that how there are just natural laws in the universe that create proteins, and those proteins are the building blocks of life, and so on and so forth. But she's staining some skeletal muscle right now in lab, so hopefully she'll come up and answer some more detailed questions. But okay, thank you, Dalton. But yeah.
Yeah, unless the supernatural exists, the only viable origin for life is going to be something natural.
Okay. So I definitely get your point and everything. So how do you think the universe was made? Like,
I don't think it was made. I think it's always existed.
So you think it has no beginning? Is that
Yeah, because no one's ever given me a good reason. I think it does have a beginning. So the only thing I'm left with is that it's always existed.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's it, sir. I'm still a Christian. I definitely still respect some atheist people.
Well, what if I told you that Christianity couldn't be true because there's one fatal flaw in the New Testament?
I mean, that's what atheists believe. Atheists believe that it couldn't be true. You know?
I could demonstrate it.
Okay.
Would you agree that the central claim of the New Testament is that Jesus is the Christ/Messiah?
Yep.
If Jesus didn't fulfill prophecies from the Old Testament, he can't be the Messiah. And because he didn't fulfill prophecies from the Messiah, he cannot be the Messiah.
Okay. Only a prophet makes prophecies, and God can give other people the power to make prophecies.
Sure,
but
Jesus
you don't have to.
But Jesus didn't fulfill any prophecies.
But he doesn't have to fulfill any prophecies. He did miracles.
He does he does if I'm to believe he is the Messiah.
Well, the Messiah can also do miracles if God gives them the power to do it.
But that's not Moses did miracles allegedly. He's not the Messiah. So performing miracles is not a sign that one is the Messiah.
Wait, can you give me one example of Moses doing a miracle? Just
Have you not read the book of Exodus?
No. I'm just asking for an example.
Splitting the Red Sea.
Okay, that wasn't Moses. That was
Moses.
Jesus.
No, not Jesus. Jesus.
I'm not Jesus God.
Jesus didn't exist. Of course, but every prophet, including Jesus, who does magic in the Bible, is only able to do so because God gives them the ability to do so, including Jesus.
So we believe that we agree that Jesus not agree, but like, because you don't believe he existed, but
I think Jesus existed. He just didn't do magic.
Okay. So I'm trying to think of it. If you were a Christian, would you believe that Jesus was a prophet or God in a human form?
If I was a Christian, then I would believe the things that Christianity teaches.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
But here's the problem. Even if Jesus did do magic, I could just say he's a false prophet. False prophets can perform magic in the Bible. In fact, God says that he will give false prophets the ability to perform magic. If Jesus made prophecies that failed to come to pass, would that not demonstrate that he is a false prophet?
Wait, can you explain that one more time? I'm sorry, you were cutting out. For a
Even
second.
false prophets can perform, according to the Bible, can perform magic. A sign, though, that they are a false prophet is not whether or not they are able to perform magic, but whether or not they are able to predict the future. If they make a prediction and it fails to come to pass, that's the sign of a false prophet. The question is, did Jesus ever make a prediction that failed to come to pass?
Let's see. Oh, because I don't know his mind, but the most logical reason is because he wanted to prove miracles. He wanted to prove that he had authority over some things.
The question was, did Jesus make any prophecies, like predictions of the future, that failed to come to pass?
Did you hear me?
You said no, he didn't.
No, sir.
Are you familiar with? Okay, I'll just bring it up on the screen then. Here, one moment. Okay. This is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, verses 27 through 28. Jesus said, "For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay everyone for what has been done." That's referring to the second coming, right?
Okay.
Okay. Well, truly, I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Now, that was 2,000 years ago. None of the apostles are still alive. Jesus didn't return.
Yeah.
So this is a false prophecy.
Wait 1 second. I got it. Sorry, I'm walking. I'm in like a theater right now.
So he says there are some standing here. There are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to go. I'm very sorry. I really appreciate your time. Sorry.
Have a good day.
You do.
Well, I tried. Moshe Bergman. Moshe, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
Him, he.
And question number 3, do you believe in a God, and if so, which God?
Yes, I'm Jewish.
All right. So the question is, why should I believe in your God? And when I say why should I believe in your God, but I do not insinuate that you are forcing me, and I also am aware that I don't have to believe in your God. I would just like justified rational reasons to believe that your God exists.
So, actually, in Judaism, we believe very much that God does exist, but there are other religions. We don't force anybody to keep, we don't try to convert people.
I know.
So that's first and foremost. Like, I know Christianity.
I'm an ex-Noahide, so I'm aware.
Oh, nice. So can I flip the question for a second? Do you mind?
The flip would be, why should I not believe in a God?
No, can I ask you, why are you an ex-Noahide?
Oh, because I don't have any reason to think that God exists.
Okay. So, do you have any examples of something being created from nothing?
No, and I don't believe that something can be created from nothing. I can't think of a single thing in my mind that I currently believe came from nothing. I think everything either came from something else, or that thing always existed.
But that something always existed. That means time was always in existence?
Yeah, I don't think that time came into existence.
So the universe always existed forever.
As far as I can tell.
Okay. Because I believe even science, within science in itself, it gives timings on how old the Earth was and how old
the Earth,
different things are.
The Earth, yes, because the Earth has like a beginning to it. Although even then the Earth didn't pop into existence. It was made out of pre-existing materials. The same is true with the Big Bang. The Big Bang happened 13.8 billion years ago, but we don't have any reason to think that that's the beginning of the universe, just another stage in the universe. In fact, the majority of scientists, physicists, approximately 68% of them, while they do believe in the Big Bang, they do not believe that the universe has a definite beginning.
Right, but what created those two molecules or atoms or whatever they are that created the Big Bang?
It's okay. This is a weird thing. Okay, I've heard this a few times, not just from you, but from Christians as well. This idea that the Big Bang is two molecules hitting each other and exploding. That's not what the Big Bang is.
Okay, that's the only concept that I thought it was.
The Big Bang is that all of time and space were extremely dense at one point and then began to rapidly expand.
But what molecules and things were there to make
everything
Earth and make the universe happen? If nothing was there except time and space.
Well, no, time and space and all the material in the universe. Because something can't pop into existence from nothing, everything that exists has always existed in one form or another.
Right. But I also believe, like, I understand that nothing can't, or something can't come from nothing. But I also believe that everything has to have a creator in itself.
Why?
Because, let me give you a very, like, 5-year-old's simple example. I'm going to try it this way. Right. Let's say you take all the pieces, of a watch. You take it all apart and you put it on a table, right? And you just let it sit there.
Yeah.
How long will it take for those pieces to become a watch if nobody touches it?
Well, it won't become a watch because watches are things that do not form naturally within nature. They don't grow on trees. For example, they're not birthed, anything like that. Watches are specifically something which are man-made. That's why they cannot naturally form. But stars are not watches. Stars have a natural process by which they are formed. No creator required. A star
and how do we know this?
Yeah, because we can actually observe stars being formed right now. We can see stars in every stage of formation right now in the universe.
Correct, but if we believe, because we know that new animals cannot be formed from nothing either.
Yeah, they have sex, which is just a natural process, or they, are birthed asexually. But
trees.
But unlike the watch, where the only time I've ever seen a watch come into existence is when I've seen a watchmaker make a watch. That's why I know that watches need makers. I've never seen someone build a star.
Right.
I've no evidence that it's any person or being is responsible for making stars. As far as the evidence is concerned, stars just form naturally.
I understand that, but I also know that, let's say, 500 years ago, we were not able to see molecules and stuff like that, correct?
Yes, and if we would have made any claim about them without evidence, we would have been unjustified.
But that means even 500 years ago, there were molecules and there were atoms, correct?
Sure. But if we didn't have evidence of them, then someone saying they do exist. Well, it's not necessarily true. We had reasons to believe that atoms existed as far back as the time of the Greeks, but pretend that that's not the case. If we had if we had no reason to think they existed, then we wouldn't be justified in claiming that they did exist until we had evidence.
That's actually my point here.
That's why I don't believe in God, because I don't have evidence of his existence. Therefore, I'm not justified, and I don't think anyone's justified in making the claim that he does exist.
No, because as we see that everything has to be created from a creator.
No, everything is formed from something else. Some things have creators, some things don't have creators. As far as
But
that's what the evidence points towards.
Actually, the only reason why you're saying that is because you can't see the creator.
And if I don't have evidence of the creator, then I'm not justified in thinking there is one.
But like
Just like the atom, you said if we did not have any evidence for the atom's existence, then we were not justified in believing that the atom existed at the time, and anyone who made a claim that atoms existed would have been unjustified.
Right.
The same is true. It's always possible that your God exists, but until we have evidence of their existence, no one is justified in making the claim that he does exist.
But you actually corrected that, and you said even when we couldn't see the atoms, we were still justified in saying that they existed.
Reasons. We've yet to see any good. We have no good reasons to think that a God exists, or at least I've never been presented with a good reason.
I mean, I don't understand why it's not a good reason to say that everything has everything has a creator.
But I don't have evidence for that. What's the evidence? What's the evidence that stars have creators?
Okay. What is the evidence 500 years ago that molecules existed?
We didn't have evidence 500 years ago. But we don't live. The question is, and if we would have made claims about molecules before we had evidence, would we have been justified?
Yes.
No, we wouldn't.
Because we still had a.
Okay, what's your reason for thinking that stars have a creator?
Because everything else in the world.
You're begging the question. You're begging the question. You're assuming
What do you mean?
You're assuming the end result in your statement you're making. You're about to make the claim everything else has a creator. You haven't demonstrated that. We've demonstrated that watches have creators. We don't know that plants have creators. We don't know that dirt has creators. We don't know that rocks have creators. We don't know that stars have creators or planets have creators. We don't have evidence.
We do know that plants.
We don't. I don't have evidence that plants have creators. I mean, we have domesticated plants where people plant them and whatnot. But wild plants, I have no evidence that they have creators.
Even domesticated plants, we did not create them. We're just taking from such that existed.
Yeah.
Right, but we are planting them and making them exist.
Yeah, no. We're just operating under the laws of evolution, right? We're literally. Yeah, so Mendel and like neo-Darwinism across Mendel and Darwin, and understanding like modern attributes to how evolution is and crossbreeding to make plants a certain way. That's not like we're not coming up in a lab, and even if we were, all we're doing in that lab to make synthetic forms is just kind of taking from that which already exists.
Yeah. Who planted the dandelion in the field?
The dandelion seeds fell, which made you can have water, spill from the rain.
So no one planted it. It just happened naturally through natural processes.
But again, nature in itself, the way I see God, is nature is God.
Well, that's pantheism, and that's like Baruch Spinoza, a Jewish man from a long time ago, was excommunicated from his synagogue for believing in such a thing.
Why?
Because at least in classical Judaism, God is different from nature. God created nature, not is nature.
He created nature.
So he can't be nature and create nature. God created himself?
No, just like in the Old Testament, he breathed, it says by Adam, he breathed in a soul into Adam, correct?
Yeah, he breathed the breath of life into Adam's nostrils.
So that means a piece of God is in all human beings.
But the dirt that Adam was made from was not made out of God, right?
But that's exactly what I'm saying, is God took a piece of himself and created everything.
So God exists in pieces now? You don't believe in like Yichud,
No,
that
God
is
is
absolutely one?
God is the everything.
You might be treading on like blasphemy within your religion, my friend.
Why?
Because within classical Judaism, at least, the belief is that God is Yichud. He is absolutely one with no parts. Have you not read Maimonides?
Yes, he is one with no parts. He is everything. So if he's everything, he is one.
You just said God used a part of himself to make Adam, which would imply God has parts.
I have a question. Your finger is a part of you, correct?
Yes, I'm a composite being, but within classical Judaism, God is not supposed to be a composite being. He's supposed to be absolutely one, uncomposite.
But that's still part of you.
I'm a composite being. Do you disagree with the classical beliefs of your religion?
No, he is one.
What do you think one means? Like when when Moses ben Maimonides writes about in his work, The Guide for the Perplexed, that God is one, what do you think he means by that?
That there is no other God but him.
That's not all that means.
Okay, what else does it mean?
It also means that God is not a composite being. He doesn't have parts. God is made up of only one thing, himself. He doesn't have arms. He doesn't have legs. He doesn't have parts that can be divided up because God is only made up of only one thing.
Of course he doesn't have arms and legs because he is not human.
He also doesn't have parts at all.
And I'm wondering where we see that in the Rambam, in Maimonides.
Guide for the Perplexed. He talks about extensively about the oneness of God.
Right. But again, the oneness of God we can't even comprehend.
Yep, but Maimonides does tell us the things. That's why Maimonides, like St. Thomas Aquinas, used I think it's called apathetic theology. We don't talk about what God is, but what he's not, and he's not made of parts.
Right. But we don't know what he is, correct?
I don't think God exists, but within the framework of classical Judaism, I can say that God is not made of parts. So when you talk about God, a part of God was used to make X, Y, and Z, that would be incorrect. Unless you want to unless you just want to like go on your own way and you want to depart from classical Judaism. I'm just telling you what your religion has been teaching since at least the medieval
understand
period.
what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and what I'm saying is it's not necessarily parts like we have fingers, like you cut off a finger and it makes.
It's not just body parts; it's parts at all.
So then what does it mean that God blew into Adam and it gave him life?
If you would have asked Maimonides, he would have told you it was a metaphor.
I have a question. If God is nature and nature is literally everything, then God is everything? That would therefore mean that I am God?
That's idolatrous.
You are a part of God. God is a part of everything.
They would have stoned you to death in the old world for this, you know?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's idolatrous.
It's also meaningless. If God is
God means nothing then.
Yeah, if God is everything, then God is nothing. If God is the I have an expo marker. If God's my expo marker and is also me, then there's no distinguishing God, and therefore God is nothing.
No, nature is not your expo marker. Nature is not your table.
But the problem is that my expo marker relies upon nature in order to exist and function. Like we didn't I didn't like, do magic to form my expo marker. My expo marker is it only exists because of chemistry which exist in nature. So it's just we mine for materials, we extract them from the earth. So therefore, I just changed the form of it, but it's still nature. It's not nature in the way that we like think about it, but it's still a part of nature, right?
Yeah, nature means
Correct.
the external world in its entirety. That includes the table. The table is nature.
So does that means you're saying glass is really sand?
It's sand and transformed, right? We use heat to make glass.
You're equivocating on. You're thinking when I say nature that we mean nature like nature documentary. We mean nature. We mean outside in the wild and stuff like that, not human-made things. And when we talk about the world, nature refers to all things which are not supernatural. Everything in the external world in its entirety. That's what.
Oh, I was saying all things that are in the actual nature, not.
You mean wildlife nature?
Yes.
Okay, but again, that's still not. That doesn't mean anything to me. Nature exists. I don't think it's God though. I have no reason to think it's God.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
There's a distinction problem here. So God's obviously not my plug, but to get that electricity, if I get it through solar power, is that energy that I'm getting nature? This is okay. That's weird and makes absolutely no sense.
Okay.
So I can power my
TV.
Yeah, it gives us no indication of anything.
Uh-huh. Okay. I mean, I'm not here to convince you.
Oh gosh.
Either way, because
that is the purpose of this live.
Okay.
What was started off, by the way, just reiterate your statement, Dalton.
Why should I believe in
my
your
original
God,
statement to you,
which is a statement trying to push you to give me a justified reason to think your God exists. So this whole life is for the purpose of trying to convince us. And if you're not here to do that, then there's no reason for you to be here.
No, so my reason to be here, and that's why my original statement was what my original statement was, is my reason to be here is just to have a interesting and good conversation with somebody about these topics.
I'm here to be convinced that God exists.
Okay, but that's why I specifically said that in Judaism we don't pull people into directions. We're okay with people believing in what they want to believe.
That's fine, but if you come up on this panel, your entire purpose should be to convince me your God exists.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
And honestly, I'm more confused than when I started this conversation. For example, is having a baby nature, or because humans did it, is that not nature? If expo markers are not nature, but my plug is not nature, but the electricity flowing through it, you've given me no indication on anything on what apparently God created and then humans created, and what that means in this dividing line. It seems rather arbitrary, is kind of what I'm getting down to.
Right, and that's where I don't even have the clearest understanding of what is, man-made.
I grant that.
You know what I mean? What is man-made and what isn't man-made. So I'm not a scientist, to say, yes, this is, this isn't, this is, this isn't.
I mean, I think it's very clear what's man-made, right? That's an easy one. Did man make it? If not, it's not man-made. But it doesn't mean that man produced the atoms or anything else. We just take from nature and recreate something or change its form to generally to have a task, but not always. But it's still part of nature because humans are animals and animals are part of nature. And that is what we call natural. It's not supernatural. And that's a very distinct line. that everything that we can witness is natural, as far as we can tell, and you've given no such justification to indicate that supernatural exists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Moshe, shalom, homie. I guess we'll talk to you another
Yep.
day.
Yes.
When I was younger, I used to watch a TV show called It's Supernatural with Sid Roth. Every day he'd had some bullshit guest come up talking about some magical thing they're able to do because of Jesus. I think a really good counter show for that would just be called It's Natural, and it's just us explaining away all the supernatural bullshit of the past from a naturalistic perspective. Why do people become deaf or dumb, aka mute or blind? It's not because of demons. Ironically enough, though, Maimonides, who I just brought up earlier, everyone, did not believe in the existence of demons. Instead, thought that the Bible was using supernatural language to explain unexplainable things to humans. Which I guess W for Maimonides for not believing in demons. We have super chats here.
From at Alphonse Zeher with the $5. If God is good, and good is God, and he is divinely simple, then Adam and Eve couldn't tell the difference between God and Satan before eating the fruits. Oh,
There are a lot of very, very strange implications about divine simplicity, absolute divine simplicity, as it's called in theology. One of the weird things about it is that if God's not made of parts, then that means that it's not that God has a mind, rather that God is his mind. God doesn't have wrath, God is his wrath. And that God's wrath is the same thing as God's love. Like, they're not different things, they're the same thing. It's extremely convoluted. As an ex-Thomist, I had a hard time wrapping my mind around such a thing. We got other super chats here. Let's see. Scroll down.
at Fern Lovebond with the $2. Howdy, Fern. Okay, but how do universe be universe? Checkmate.
It does seem that is where these conversations keep going back to, but where did the universe come from? Because that is the whole thing about the God of the gaps, is that the gaps that God used to be able to fit in were very large. Where does God live? Well, he lives inside the cave. Well, we went inside the cave and God's not there. Oh, okay, well, he's actually up on the mountain. Well, I went to the top of the mountain. There was no God there. He's in the sky. Well, I flew up there. No God. Okay. Well, he's in another dimension altogether. The gaps where God can fit in just keep getting smaller and smaller as time progresses.
And at Bjorn Hartmeyer again with the 20 Danish crones. I'm not the Messiah. I'm a very naughty boy. Oh.
There isn't a day that goes by where at least once I don't see Life of Brian get quoted on this channel, and I'm here for it.
Hey, just FYI, Fern sent me a text. They found the Messiah. It's on a street lamp in New York City right now.
Is this a reference I'm supposed to get?
They sent me a picture of the Messiah. It's in New York City for everyone.
Send me a picture. What? Zoran Mamdani? Wait, no. Well, the issue with the universe existing without God is the problem of infinite regression. Except Matthew Idris, infinite regression is actually not a problem. It's actually a thing that's been done away with by the B theory of time.
I sent you a photo.
That is a picture. I'll show everyone what I'm looking at here real quick.
Make sure the number's not in there and everything.
The number?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I want to make sure I don't know.
1988? That's a year.
No.
Oh no! The way I got it zoomed in, you can't see anything.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say.
Anyways, guys, this is in New York City. The fella on the picture right there, that fella right there, that is Menachem. Y'all hear me mention him quite often on this channel. how back in the 1990s there was a fella that a lot of Jewish people thought might have been the Messiah, and that was here for people on YouTube who can't see it. There you go. And that's Menachem Mendel Schneerson. That's him. There are still people today who think that even though he died, that the Rebbe was and is the Messiah. I often bring them up because Christianity is the Meshichist within Chabad are basically like the earliest form of Christianity. He is what Jesus said about them in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. Oh, true North knowledge. Of course, you had to throw in some anti-Semitism there. I think actually Revelation 2:9 better fits the description of you and your ilk pretending to be Jews when you're not. But anyways, everyone, if you see someone bring up Revelation 2:9, that's an anti-Semitic dog whistle. So, fuck you. We are. I'm gonna read that as genitals. Yes, you are in fact genitals. True North knowledge. That is.
Hey, I like genitals though.
Yeah, not all genitals are the same though. Some people don't wash their junk.
It's blue waffle.
Ew.
Blue waffle genitals.
So, God, you brought me back to high school and not in a fun way. If LGBTV numbers go up, your economy die. No kids, no school, no GTA 6. I think what you meant to say was LGBTQIA, but no, that's also not how that works. Fun fact: gay people can still have kids.
You think that like gay people lack the desire for children? In fact, we see like if you would just let like gay individuals to adopt children as well, it doesn't turn anyone gay. Like that's not how it works. There are genes involved.
Also,
first off, like
if everyone magically became gay overnight, like Christians think is going to happen, guess what? A gay man can still fuck a gay woman, and they can both have a gay baby. It's all good.
Or IVF exists. There are a number of different options. The thing that makes us have children isn't always the fact that. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a number of children born that maybe aren't necessarily planned, but it still happens because people desire children, and also there are like billions of us. We overpopulate. There are so many starving individuals. There's not a need to have us. And yes, maybe the economy will certainly, if you had like a drop off, a massive drop off, like that would be the case in economy. That is true. But when we look at it, the major problem that we have in the drop off economy is that whom go into retirement. So we're living longer than ever before, and we're getting outside that working age, which is like around the 65 mark. It's not necessarily that we're not able to replace them. That's kind of a misnomer. It's that the people aren't working, which is the difference. But if we have a drop off in economy and we don't have this like great replacement theory itself, that's not true.
Someone said Someone said it takes a man and a woman to make a baby. I'll remember that the next time you guys tell me that Jesus was born from a virgin. Also, Matthew says, searched B theory, definitely a unique take on time. It's actually not unique. It's the consensus view amongst physicists. Now, hey, I have a joke for you, Ashlyn. What do you call someone who who's attracted to men and women, but still can't get any dick or pussy?
An unfuckable?
No, they are by themselves.
That's horrible.
Sola says a child, not necessarily virgin, if I'm not mistaken in the original text. She is Mary is both a child and a virgin in the Gospels. Don't try enough. I'm straight as hell. Said every person with who no one's straight as hell. Everyone's a little gay. The Bible Guy official, that might be the best response to that. Yeah, the best response to it takes a man and a woman to build a baby. Well, tell that to the Mary, I guess. I thought it didn't specify that at all. It doesn't specify it explicitly, but what we know from first century Jewish culture, women her age wouldn't be women. They would be girls. What is the topic that's really interesting to you guys today? Why should I believe in God? Same as yesterday. All right, it's been an hour. We're going to do another restart. And we have 50 minutes left of the show, so hopefully we'll get some more good conversations in today. We've had decent conversation. It's been okay. Hopefully we'll get more. We'll see you all in just a hot seconds. All by myself. Don't wanna live all by myself. Yeah. Well, that was just for the YouTube crowd. Howdy, Grumpy Butterfly. How come your TikTok keeps like flicking you off?
I don't know. Also, Great Replacement is not that. I'm thinking of another theory name. And it's a different theory name. So I was completely wrong, and I just caught myself on that. Great Replacement is a racist theory. Geez, my brain. Someone probably knows what I'm talking about.
When was my last Q&A? It's been a while. The thing with the Q&A is that, and I get it, whenever I do Q&As, people want to ask me Bible questions and answers. But when I do a Q&A, I just want people to ask me my opinion on anything. Because sometimes I like to not talk about the Bible. Because that's what I talk about 90% of the time in my life.
He wants you to ask him about what his butt stuff he likes.
And I will answer. All of it. No. Religious people. The universe must have come from something. Also religious people. God always existed. Yeah, special pleading for God is always a Christian, not just a Christian, just theist thing, it looks like. I meant by my question, is the topic related to God that was interesting for X, free will, or evil God? Free will, I think it's an interesting conversation. It just doesn't go anywhere really quick because it's just so obvious that it doesn't exist. And most of the 90% of the conversation around free will is trying to get the individual in question to understand what that word even means.
I don't know that it's obvious per se, but I will say that for the most part, it's if we mean by free will the definition that we give, then it would be. But I think that the semantical argument for a lot of philosophy still exists, where they're arguing over what words mean and how the definition. But to be fair, that's all a philosophy.
My favorite street cart food is Philosophals. The
laugh. Your own joke for me.
Just curious, what's the argument free will doesn't exist? Well, if we understand free will properly as the ability to make a choice independent of underlying cause, then like we just have zero examples of any choice that one can make that doesn't have an underlying cause.
Grumpy Butterfly said, I can't talk. Apparently the rain does something to my mind. Anyways, as I would say, chickpeas, because I put an A in chickpeas.
Chickpeas. Chickpeas are fine. I do love hummus. What do you mean by underlying cause? What I mean by that is that our actions are effects, and those effects have causes. Like, the classic example I always bring up is when I choose between wanting a Dr. Pepper and wanting a water, I sometimes choose the Dr. Pepper because I have a taste for it, a craving for it. Sometimes I choose the water because I have an inclination to be more healthy. And the reason I want to be more healthy is because, and it just goes back and back and back and back, just an infinite series of causes. So you don't believe in God? I don't believe in God. That is correct. As an atheist, I do not believe in God.
And behaviorists would say that this was preconditioned.
Rainbow Ghost says, I love the strawberry Dr. Pepper. I know, I just tried it for the first time this week. And I had a revelation recently. Not much of a revelation, but I realized that strawberry flavored things don't taste like real strawberries. And then last night in bed, I was like, grape soda doesn't taste like grapes either. What's going on here? Dizzle says, why is
chocolate does.
Chocolate flavored things do taste like chocolate, except for Yoo-hoo. Dizzle says, why is that? Why don't I believe in God? Because no one's giving me a good reason to.
Yoo-hoo tastes like chocolate. It's just chocolate flavored water. It's not milk.
Yeah, it's not milk. I watched a whole video on it, the origin of Yoo-hoo. It was very interesting. Isn't it a free will that you want to be fit? No, the reason I want to be fit, as long as you can say, I want to be fit because, as long as you can say because, there's an underlying cause. The reason I want to be fit is because I want to be healthier. I want to be able to breathe easier. I also want to give the theist one less thing for them to complain about and actually get to a real conversation. And the reason for that is because there's just going to be an infinite series of cause. There's nothing that I do that is truly spontaneous. He is the reason he woke you up this morning. No, that would be my alarm clock. My alarm clock woke me up this morning, not God.
Or circadian rhythms, noises. Like there are a lot of becauses and why people wake up that are outside of that. We've looked at the brain. We understand a decent portion of it. I'm not going to say all.
All right, we had a guest and then they disappeared. Dizzle just said nope. Well, good rebuttal. I guess I'll just say in response, yup. Because as much as you give me, I'll give you back.
Nah, bro.
My cat yelling at me woke me up. See, look. St. Bruno's cat is God. Do you lift weights? Serious question. I don't. Most of my exercise comes about from me playing on the Switch. I mean, not Switch, the Oculus Quest. Have you considered nuh-uh? That is the best that O'Dizzle has. Hi, Dalton and Ashland. I love these lives. Well, Hedwig, we love that you love these lives. Thank you. Bjorn says, grape soda in Denmark does taste like grape because we don't use artificial flavors. I can't even imagine what that would taste like. Isn't grape... Wouldn't it just be a carbonated grape juice? Carbonated grape juice.
Denmark doesn't use any... I'd be interested in how you define artificial, because it's very difficult to abstract like quote unquote pure flavor in things without losing the volatility.
Y'all are very funny. I like the cheerleading squad you have following you. I mean, every live you go to, O'Dizzle, is going to have fans. I don't know. You use the term cheerleading squad as a way of like demonetizing them, but every live has fans. I don't know what you thought you were doing there. It failed. Hero says, how about me trying a new thing totally that I haven't tried before or feeling free? Yeah, you did it because you wanted to be spontaneous. That's the underlying cause.
He's confused. We don't hire cheerleaders. That would be weird because most of them are underage. I know that's something Christians like to do is talk to underage girls. We don't do that.
I don't think of... In my head, the first thing I think of when I think of cheerleaders is Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I haven't been in high school in so long. I don't think of high school cheerleaders. The first thing is but I'm not a Christian.
Vast majority of cheerleaders are in high school, though. It's not a wildly lucrative profession. So yes, a vast majority of them are children.
Oh no, Kiro, that is the underlying cause. That's where you're mistaken. It is my choice for me to be free. You wanted to be free. That's why you did the thing. The desire to be free was the underlying cause. The very thing that you chose to do in order to prove free will exists proves that it doesn't exist. That's the irony.
Oh yeah, we absolutely. There are brain regions that start to light up essentially prior to choice.
Hello.
Oh,
I did not let both of these people up.
Kiro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you understand why that thing you provided doesn't prove free will, right?
So what I'm saying is that the underlying cause, which is the first cause, which is me being free, like me trying to be free, is a choice. Like I want to try to be free.
This is another problem that people who believe in free will don't seem to understand, is that free will is not the same thing as choice. In both free will and determinism, there's choice. The difference is your choice have an underlying cause, or is it lack an underlying cause? If it lacks an underlying cause, then it's free choice or free will. If it has an underlying cause, then it's determined choice, determined will.
So what?
So, for example, right, when we look at different experiments on individuals like maybe Stanford or Milgram, the fact that and these are older experiments, but I think they're ones that individuals are going to be more accustomed to knowing, that there are pressures that exist within our choice making that have internal and internal and external attributes, right? So our biology, our psychology, and our sociology are all going to have impacts on why you make that decision. So it could just be that an individual like yourself that you're explaining is that, well, I'm going to test this concept of free will, or I came into contact with this concept of free will. And the reason why that you're going to try to test that and choose something different than you normally was is because you came into contact with that concept.
But like let's actually like split this up, because I think there are like lots of things that we can say about this one. So one thing is, what if I challenged myself to not lie, where the circumstances around me is actually pushing me to lie?
That's the underlying cause. That's the underlying cause. Yeah, why did you do that? Why did you choose to do the challenge?
It's a biopsychosocial model. We're not saying everything has an external cause, right? Some things can be internal causes, right? Like epigenetics, I think, is a good one, where we find that within generations of sexual trauma or living through the Holocaust increase the rates of depression, and therefore we find or just sexual trauma increases rates of depression, and therefore lack of motivation. It changes decision making. It doesn't just have to come from external factors. That's not what we're saying.
Okay, so I think we need to go back then to the definition of free will that should be having an underlying cause. Like when you're connecting these two, I think there's something missing, which is underlying causes can actually have a range of motion for it. Like, let's say I want to drink something. And I like Dr. Pepper and I like Pepsi. So I have two different choices here.
Yep.
Which both I like and both I can drink at this moment, and both are good and both are cool.
Okay. So which one do you choose?
I would randomly choose one.
It's not random.
It's never random is the problem.
You have antecedents, right? And this is known with that you have antecedents, though, which is the thing that builds up to that. These antecedents are something that is going to kind of dictate this, and this is well known within behaviorism, that these antecedent states it can be of select origin. So maybe it's your own internal thought, right? But that thought is brought on by biology, and that biology is brought on by, so on and so forth. This is exactly what we're saying.
Yeah, but is there a proof to that? Like that is
antecedents? Yeah. Yeah, we can just simply go back to reward motivation and learning in some of the most basic psychology courses and biopsychology courses. If this weren't true, then operant and classical conditioning would not work, and we would see no reason for that theory to be supported, or those theories.
Okay, but I think even what science has come with, we never knew how consciousness work, which means we have lots of things that
But motivation and consciousness are not the same thing.
Yeah.
But part of it is coming from, like, part of our thinking process, and part of our how we behave
thinking is not thinking is not consciousness. Thinking is generally what we describe thinking of is something that's coming from our cortices, our cerebral cortices, this outer bark. That's thought that you and I, kind of like our internal monologue, it's this thought that we can detect. But the problem with this would be that we can almost predict before it entering these outside levels of the brain, what a decision is going to be had in an individual's, because it's not predominantly thought that is determining these decisions. There is a lot of different brain activity going on
that we don't know.
No, we do. I don't know it off the top of my head, but this is like well established within neurology.
You're actually making a claim that consciousness is not doing anything in this process.
No. Consciousness is not decision making. That's
but
what you're.
It's not making an attribute to that.
Consciousness is not decision making. That's an equivocation.
I don't know why we're talking. I don't know why we're talking about this though. As long as you can say, "I did X because," you have an underlying cause.
Yeah,
even if it was simply from a desire of wanting to be spontaneous, that's the underlying cause.
Yeah, but it's my decision to be spontaneous, to be spontaneous.
Yeah, but why did you want to be spontaneous?
No, nothing. It just it came up. I wanted to be spontaneous at this moment.
I don't believe you.
It's
every
that's
single
the thing. Like
at best, what you're getting to is that you don't know the underlying cause.
Well, even if so, then you just have randomness, and there's no evidence of randomness. Do you have evidence of randomness?
I'm having an evidence of things. I don't have an evidence of things that actually right now, which part of it is consciousness. I don't have anything about it in science, which is actually you're saying like it doesn't attribute to it. But
you don't have.
We don't know.
I think we can say pretty definitively that the reason why you're saying you're just choosing to be spontaneous is because you were challenged that free will doesn't exist, and that's actually the underlying cause here. This is why this is why these conversations don't really go anywhere, because I have to explain the definition of the words, and then we have to. All it is just us naming, like action after action after action that you think doesn't have an underlying cause, and then I immediately tell you how it does, and then it doesn't go anywhere.
Okay, let's be very clear here too. When you make an action, the underlying cause is that you moved your hand. The underlying cause prior to that are synapses in the brain. Those synapses led to something else, or were prior something else. All of this does have an underlying cause. Like Dalton said, you just don't know what it is. When we talk about decision making, we're talking about motivation, reward, and learning. And when we talk about those things, we know it's neural circuitry essentially that exists in the brain, and A lot of them are based off of memory. And if you don't have memory of something, you're going to base it off of your understanding, your inherent understanding. So generally like genetics, but a lot of what we do is taught to us. And even if it's not taught to us, some things come from this like passed down understanding that like think of like if it is the case it is random, Kuro, you would expect that a baby from the womb of a species that we look at two different types. One that requires offspring to be raised from birth, and they're taught like us. And then we have there's actually terminologies from this and I'm forgetting them. And then one doesn't require this. So think about a giraffe being born and they just know how to walk, which is not something that they have to be taught. So you would say that they just learn how to walk out of randomness, and these decisions are random, but that cannot be the case, because we all seem to have this ability to survive, whether we're taught or whether it was something innate to us. So I don't see what you're saying when you say that you can just make these decisions, because if that were to lend to the case, then you would have to say that the entire field of psychology is a bust, and that people with mental illness are just choosing to be mentally ill. You would have to say that there's no predisposition or values to anything. Like
there is a difference between these, like mental illnesses, or like let's say a tumor in the brain that controls the behavior, and all of these things. I do think that this is true, and I do think that science can actually help with that. But what I'm saying is there is part of a healthy man, which is, we can debate what's a healthy man is, but about like a normal healthy man, that he can make some of the decisions out of free will without
everything in mental illness is impacted. So at one point, for most individuals, mental illness were healthy brains, and it's being impacted by like generally inadequate coping, and that's what we describe as that is just these like processes. So if you agree that that is the case, then you also agree in determinism, and the reason for that is because what gets someone to mental illness are deterministic values.
I think that
unless you think mental illness is random, and that just some people are determined or not non-determined, are just randomly assigned mental illness, the processes that we look at in the brain to figure out if someone is mental, like schizophrenia, are revolved around things like dopamine. When we look at things like substance use disorder, we're talking about motivation and reward to GABA A very specifically, and dopamine. When we look at or opiates or other substances, these are all deterministic. When we look at these mental illnesses, there is very strict biopsychology at hand to set within a range of someone that is experiencing these behaviors. They're all able to look at the mechanism of action and be able to say that that person is experiencing this because.
Yeah. So I don't have any reason to think free will is a real thing. It's not even in the Bible. It's not it's not even in the Bible. I don't know why Christians are so hard pressed to believe in it when it's not in the Bible.
Well, I'm agnostic, but so let's say that I would still have a challenge that still there is emotion even when you have a mental illness. There's still
emotion.
You have emotion.
Emotion has nothing to do with whether or not
I'm not saying emotion. Sorry. The English is not called emotion. I'm saying an area of I'm saying an area of motion, like where you
Motion.
actually have like
Motion.
motion. Yeah,
Motion
like
is the reason
I'm,
why I don't believe in free will.
so what I'm saying basically is that there is like an area of it changes. Like maybe I have a mental illness that actually makes me has a phobia of cats,
That's
for example.
evidence of not free will.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you have a little bit of
Listen,
reacting.
Hero,
on
I
it.
got I
Like
got
you have
someone
you have
I got someone in the
Every-
wings waiting to come
everything-
up. But like
Everything
I say,
is reaction. Everything
Yeah.
that we do is reaction.
I got-
Everything
I'm
is
saying
an
the range
we
of reactions.
Okay,
that
No,
I
no,
can
no,
do,
no.
which is-
Wait, okay,
Ev-
I got someone else
Oh,
waiting.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
These free will conversations never go anywhere for this very reason. But
May I just add one last thing?
Oh, now they're gone. All right.
Okay.
Well, now we got
okay.
someone else here now.
We are an input-output system, Kuro. That is a very simple lesson in biopsych and neurology. We are not something that creates something from nothing. What you're saying is that decisions are poofed out of nowhere, where we're saying, no, there is a direct change. So even if someone is mentally healthy, there are neurosynapses involved in that decision making. Where did those neurosynapses come from? Protein development. Where did those protein developments come from? DNA. Where did that DNA come from? And it is that simple.
Yeah.
So can I say one last thing?
No.
Just one last.
Anyways. God. Okay. Matt, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Bible God, can you hear me?
Yeah, are you at least 18 years old?
I am 18 years old.
And what pronouns do you go by?
I go by he, him.
And question number 3, do you believe in a God? And if so, which God?
I don't believe in a God. I was going to deal with keto for about 20 seconds in Japanese.
Oh, okay. Well, I generally don't.
That's fine.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you get rid of him, I was just going to teach him his lesson for about 20 lessons.
Oh, okay,
I'm 1 year older. I'm 1 year older than he is.
I hope he's not 17. But anyways,
No, that's fine. I'll drop down. If he's going, I'll drop down.
yeah. All right. Bye. I had someone in the request box who was requesting to come up. Kiki's, you're more than welcome to request back up again if you'd like to come up and have a conversation with us. All right. Everyone, make sure you're tapping that screen. I'm super excited because I got a hamburger coming my way in the next 25 minutes, so that's what I got to look forward to. And the reason I'm excited for that is because I'm hungry as hell. All right. Let's see. Love me a burger. Me too. It's a bacon cheeseburger because I don't keep kosher anymore. I would call, but I'm not a believer. Well, Bjorn, love you for that. I'm tapping my foot. Yeah, all the people on YouTube, y'all can't tap the screen to do anything, so just keep tapping whatever is closest to you, and Peggy will know it and she will accept it. Satan in your thoughts, in your mind. No, that would require that Satan exists. And I don't think you're going to be able to demonstrate to me that Satan exists. You're more than welcome to try, though. Your mother recreated you in her image. You're just like her. My mother's a Christian.
You don't look like your mom either.
I look like my dad. Crazy. Both my parents are Christian, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Neither. No, she ain't. Wait, neither guy. You know my mom's personal religious beliefs?
Jesus, his mom thought I was the Satan himself.
Yeah, my mom thought that Ashlyn was the reason I became an atheist. Yeah, like, what the fuck are you on about, neither guy? This is the most pathetic display. Well, you just have to assert that my mom's not a Christian because it fits your personal world narrative or whatever. It's pathetic.
And by the way, Dalton's mom is the sweetest person ever. like the sweetest lady ever. She's just a Christian and like thinks things, but she would never have. She treated me so well, even despite thinking that. So
Yeah, my mom got pissed at Mike whenever he made Calcifer uncomfortable. When he was trying to make Calcifer uncomfortable.
oh yeah.
Yeah. She's sweet. Look at this guy. Yeah, she made a good boy. She made a nice, sweet man. Neither guy. I'm a better man than you ever will be. I'm not a bigot. I love my friends and family. I give generously. I'm also not an idiot. So she did a good job, my mom.
Dawn's mom is adorbs, and just if anyone says anything negative about her, you will get blocked. That's it. I'm making the executive decision because she is so lovely.
John Klein said, my mom thought my husband was the one who turned me gay, and it's a phase. 33 years later, she's doubting all that. Fantastic. Oh, that's so funny. It's obvious, most definitely I can tell you don't believe in God. Yes. Since it says I'm an atheist, yes. It is very obvious that I do not believe in God.
Wait, you don't believe in God? Why am I here? What?
Neither guy is a flat earther. Oh, so he just believes things contrary to the evidence. That's why he thinks my mom's an atheist. Okay, I see. He's just a fucking idiot. Guys, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I'll say it a million more times. We need to bring back public shaming for people like neither guy until they're too ashamed to say stupid shit publicly. Because you're jealous of him? Why would I be jealous of God? For what?
Hear me out. Hear me out. It doesn't promote learning, though.
Fuck him. Anyways, jealous of what? What the fuck would I be jealous about God for? First and foremost, jealous that he doesn't exist? I mean, also jealous that he's a lonely loser who can't hold a marriage. He got a horrible divorce and now he hates women? No, thank you.
I think we should public shame certain groups, but I have a reason for it. Like Nazis. Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Here. Someone said my makeup's gone and I looked lovely with it, so here we go.
Beautiful.
Bro, you're teasing the wrong one, bro. What?
Are you turned on? You're teasing him. Ooh.
Hear me out. Loki created Christianity. There's the whole video series on TikTok from this one creator. I don't remember his name, but he created like a whole entire fan fiction where Loki created Christianity, and it's so good. It's so good. Thank you, Hedwig.
Someone said the Canadian gamer says you little flirt. I think that's what Dooley's was trying to say. It was, you're just a flirt, Dalton.
I am.
And they're turned on by it, and you're teasing them.
My number one goal is to confuse everyone sexually. That's what I want. What's wrong with love others as yourself? Nothing, but Christians don't do it.
Well, no. Don't love others as yourself.
Love them
either.
as they want to be loved.
Yeah.
Some people don't love themselves.
Well, or hear me out. If men treated women how women or how men wanted to be treated, right? That would be problematic, right?
Yeah.
Because men are more likely to want to engage in sex, but women, well, that's not even necessarily true, right? But it's dependent. When we look at people, treat others with value systems that value consent and autonomy, I would say.
You already do. Lying won't make it true. Lying won't make what true? Oh, believe in God? No, I don't believe in God. You can say I'm lying, but you have no evidence of that. Zero. All the evidence points in favor of me not believing that God exists.
They're actually an atheist, and they're just not admitting it.
Yeah, GTH. We all know that you don't actually believe in God. You're an atheist. You're repressing the truth in your unrighteousness. And if you tell me you believe in God, we all just know you're lying. Yo, I got a question. If you don't believe in God, why is your name the Bible Guy? Because I know the Bible better than Christians do.
Dalton shoved the Bible up his butt once, and it absorbed all
of its knowledge. Just rolled it right up. I was desperate. All right. We got here Jaden. Jaden, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation at hand. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I'm not saying.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
I mean, I'm just a guy. I mean, he, him, her.
And question number 3, do you believe in a God, and if so, which God?
I do believe in a God, and the God that I believe in is Jesus Christ.
All right. Why should I believe in your God? And when I say why should I believe in your God, I do not insinuate that you are trying to force belief on me, and I am also aware that I don't have to believe. I'm just asking for a rational justification that your God exists.
So since of like why should you believe in my God, I think the evidence is there historically as well as
which is
I mean just the evidence historically of Jesus Christ being a person who came to the earth, lived the life, and back the.
Well, that's evidence that a guy existed. It's not evidence that your God exists.
Yes. So 100% history backs up Jesus being a person and living a life, but also the evidence.
George Washington was a person.
Yes.
He lived a life.
Yes, absolutely correct.
He didn't chop down a cherry tree, though.
Yeah.
But Jesus being more than just a historical historical figure, but more of the evidence pointing towards people say that he was God. He was the Son of God.
Wait. What's the evidence that he's the God or the Son of God?
So, historical claims claiming that he rose from the dead, and
I don't think that's miracles. I don't think it's true though. Why should I think Jesus rose again from the dead?
I do believe it starts from the idea of believing there is a God.
Well, then,
and then you look further into what
God.
question.
That I guess we can just set aside the question of Jesus resurrecting, and then you can give me evidence for God's existence.
Hold on, Jada. I'm going to start with the idea that you're a liar, and then work my way up from that. That's not how we demonstrate that claims are true at all. In fact, that's how you get to untruths rather than truths. If science or anything else or any other aspect of trying to demonstrate a point starts with an assumption, then you are already working your way back to a false claim.
So what is, since you need to believe in God in order to believe in the resurrection, I guess you should just give me evidence for God then, instead of talking about the resurrection.
Okay, I gotcha. So first major claim, just the complexity and structure of everything around us, such as the human body, the earth, and kind of life itself.
Why should any of that point me to a God? It doesn't, I mean, those things don't look intelligently designed.
So like the probability of, so I don't know what your belief is as far as how we came to be.
The probability for us getting the way we are is 100%. Because it happened.
Yes, but like the chances of us being
100%.
Do you know that? Wait, what are the chances of us not being that way, and can you demonstrate that?
Yeah.
I mean, not to the exact numbers, but like for instance, the sun being where it's at, not being too close, too far.
The Goldilocks zone is several hundreds of millions of miles apart.
Gotcha.
I have zero, and I'm a determinist. I think like there was never a possibility for the Earth to be anywhere else than where it's at right now.
And the basis of this is, if it wasn't, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. The dichotomy is not that if it is, then it's a God, and if it's not, like, is it falsifiable in that way? Like, I'm not understanding your claim in the sense that you're trying to say that because it's in this very specific place, therefore God. Well, if it wasn't, we just wouldn't exist. That's how I see it.
This body, as great as I love my body, I don't think it's intelligently designed. Like, I've got this pipe that I breathe from, and I also drink from it. And if I do both at the same time, or if I do both wrong, I will choke and die. That's not good design. My gonads are on the outside of my body. They didn't have to be. There's a better way of doing that. But they're outside, they're vulnerable, and while I have moments of pleasure with them, I've also experienced a great immense amount of pain from being kicked in them before. Not great design. The world looks like it naturally formed through natural processes over a very long period of time. There's nothing about this that looks as if it was made by somebody.
Or we can just talk about the way that is evidence and how individuals came about with intelligence or this certain build, right? It came about through mutation, and mutation is also an inclination of cancer, because not all mutations are good. Some mutations lend to immense harm in an individual.
Yeah, let's give you a moment to respond.
Yeah, you're good. I'm listening and taking information. So you mentioned like starting your belief on how humans came to be and how the world formed over several years, I believe.
Yeah, billions of years. That's where all the evidence seems to lead, at least.
Okay, I've got you. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm reading these comments.
Here, don't pay attention to the comments. Pay attention to me.
But as far as like going back to the main argument, why should you believe that there is a God, or in my God specifically? I do believe like the evidence is there, like historically, for Jesus being a person, but as God,
but again, that's just evidence that Jesus existed. I'm fine with saying that Jesus existed. He just wasn't divine.
I've got you. But like back to like if there's a God, period, or not, whether that be Jesus Christ or not. So, like, you truly believe like complexity of our bodies and everything is just naturally.
Yeah, if I have no evidence that the supernatural exists, and no good reason to think that God exists, then the only thing left is that we came about through a natural process. Plus, we have just an abundance of evidence for evolution.
Okay, could you like go over with me the abundance of evidence for evolution?
Yeah, the fossil record, genomic evidence, the fact that we can see genes that we share in common with our closest relatives. We even have like a freaking chromosome that's been fused together in our genes that, you know, the other our brother apes have in common with us.
Okay, that's pretty neat. Did not know that. Well, I'll be completely honest, like just and humble in my sense, like that. I'm obviously not going to win a debate or convince you, but
would you like to hear my evidence against Christianity?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think one of the reasons I think the greatest evidence against Christianity is that the central claim of the New Testament is that Jesus is the Christ / Messiah, and yet he did not fulfill even one messianic prophecy from the Old Testament.
So as far as what I know, and this is not me being able to back up these claims, but scripture in Isaiah and stuff, I see like that has been fulfilled for the one to come.
That is the claim. But generally what happens is when we go back and we look at these passages, we read them in their original language and in their literary and historical context. It becomes very clear that they not only are they not fulfilled by Jesus, but some of these are not even about the Messiah.
I gotcha. So like you've went down that rabbit hole before and like seen and like looked at the Old Testament scripture and fulfillment of that.
It's the reason I left Christianity in the first place, because I was a Christian. I wanted to bring Jewish people to Jesus. So the best way of doing that, I thought, was to go to the Old Testament, learn the Bible in its original language, and convince Jews from their own Bible that Jesus was Messiah, only to find out that the New Testament constantly misquotes the Old Testament in order to make it look like Jesus was something more than what he was.
Huh. Yeah, I might have to look back into that and do some more reading on like the misquoting of the scripture. Was it like a language difference or
Sometimes
just a
it's
sense
like
of like completely
sometimes it's a matter of translation errors. Sometimes it's just the passage is just ripped out of its context to make it look like it's about Jesus. For example, Hosea 11 verse 1 says, "When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son," which is about what historical event?
yeah, I'm not sure. You'll have to educate me.
The Exodus, right? When Israel left Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And then the author of Matthew takes the first half of that sentence, gets rid of it, and then quotes the last half and says that's about Jesus when he went to Egypt. Out of Egypt I called my son.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely see how that's misquoted, misinterpreted. But like generally, when you look back through the passages, did you find every single one to be misquoted, misrepresented?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Michael says, so you guys need a photograph of Jesus with a thumbs up? Nope, I think he existed. He just wasn't the Messiah, Michael.
Yeah, I would say like Jesus definitely was a person, 100%.
Well,
the real debate becomes when
it's iffy.
God.
It's iffy. There's definitely a good case to be made for mythicism, the idea that Jesus did not exist. And if anyone wants a really good scholarly peer-reviewed take on that position, you can read Dr. Richard Carey's book on the historicity of Jesus.
Well, honestly, I'm gonna get off here, man. I joined just to have a little chat discussion with you, just kind of see why you didn't believe. But as far as like defending my faith, I'll be honest, like there's conviction in the sense of that I should be better at doing that. But you seem to be pretty knowledged in the opposite arguments against Christianity and God, in general. So, I mean, I respect that, and you being knowledgeable in that, what you believe in.
Well, all right. Well, you have a good day, Jaden.
All right, you too, man.
We have a super chat here from
at Bjorn Hartmeyer again with the 20 Danish krones. Visit Denmark. I'll cook you the best bacon cheeseburger.
If I ever find myself in Denmark, I know exactly who I'm calling up now. Big W to Bjorn for sponsoring today's episode. All right, let's see. Mason is coming up now. Mason, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him, his.
And question number 3, do you believe in a God, and if so, which God?
Jesus Christ.
All right. Why should I believe in your God? And when I say that, I do not mean to insinuate that you are forcing me to believe in your God. And I am aware that I don't have to. I'm just looking for a justified reason to think your God exists.
Well, there's the Bible, of course. That goes back hundreds, if not thousands of years.
The Bible is the reason I don't think your God is real.
Why?
Because it contains scientific errors, historical errors, contradictions, and failed prophecies.
Like what?
Would you like an example of which one of those would you like an example for?
Any.
Okay, scientific error. What shape is the earth?
Round.
Okay. The Bible said it was a circle, a flat circle. That would be wrong, right?
Well, metaphorically speaking, yes, but it's still.
How is the earth metaphorically a flat circle?
Well, no, I'm saying it's a circle, of course.
It's not.
If you go on, in the 3D version, yes, it is a sphere.
A sphere. Circles are two-dimensional.
But if you draw a photo of the Earth, you make a circle.
No, well, you might start that way, but if you really want to make it look like, first and foremost, a picture of the Earth would be a circle because pictures are flat, but the actual Earth isn't a circle. And you can see curvature on the Earth. Like you can see the continents curving around it. You can see shadows and light and the clouds curving around it. It doesn't look like a circle. It looks like a sphere.
Yeah.
Also, Mary, Jesus didn't fulfill those prophecies. You're more than welcome to call in, and I can prove you wrong on each and every single one of those. Anyways, so the Bible says the earth is flat. Bible's wrong.
What? Where did it say that at?
Isaiah 40 verse 22 says it is he, God, who sits above the circle of the earth. And then it goes on to describe the sky as being like the top of a tent that covers the earth. That's incorrect.
Well, metaphorically speaking, we do have gravity, and we do have the Earth atmosphere, which pushes us out.
Why do you keep saying the word metaphorically?
Because it's a metaphor.
It's not.
It's not. It's a metaphor.
Gravity's not mentioned once, even metaphorically, in Isaiah 40 verse 22.
They didn't have that advanced technology back then, metaphorically speaking.
You're a troll, aren't you?
No.
There's no way you're not a troll.
Why would I be a troll?
It's the quiver in your voice as you laugh as you say, metaphorically speaking.
Oh, sorry, I had a work call. What is this person saying?
It's just a metaphor.
Okay. He's a troll. Anyways, what a waste of my time. Mary, Zechariah 12:10, we can talk about that. You gotta call in, though. Not about Jesus. Guys, I'm going to stump her with a single question about Zechariah 12:10 if she calls in. Mary makes me sure you get your husband's permission first. Mary, did you know that Jesus didn't fulfill prophecy?
Oh my god. That was not something we sang in Baptist church. That was a Catholic song.
We sang that in my non-Catholic church growing up.
Really?
Yeah. Who is Isaiah 52 about? I will tell you, Mary. You got to call up. I'm not going to have the conversation with you in the comment section. It's primarily sang by not Catholics, actually. Mary, did you know?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, I'm Ashland. I also didn't know. Mary, come up. You're a woman that believes in the Bible. It's not good for you.
Let's see. Lyrics to Mary, did you? Because I remember when I was Catholic that my priest had some problems with the song. He said it wasn't proper for us to sing as Catholics. Theologically. Mormons sing it too. That makes sense. They're pretty much Protestant, like uber Protestant. She won't do it until her husband shows up.
I do have to probably go in a bit. I have to go help someone with their tire pressure.
All right. Well, we got Mary here. Mary is coming back. Mary, which one of those alleged which one of those check 1 2 3 okay which one of those alleged prophecies would you like to talk about?
Hold on 1 second. I got something weird on my screen. Hold on. There's like stickers everywhere. Okay, wait. I think I'm good.
Oh, I remember you, Mary. Welcome back.
Hi. Yeah, you guys are so funny. Her husband said she could join. Okay. He's outside. Don't worry. He won't be chiming in.
I mean, that's what the text kind of indicates, that you're
you guys are saying, are you saying?
Let's not sidetrack from that. I want to hear a prophecy that Jesus actually fulfilled.
Oh, sorry. Well, what is your take of Isaiah 53? Like,
well,
and the different parallels to that, like how the New Testament has parallels in John and Matthew that parallel Isaiah 52 and 53.
Yeah, the author of that section of Isaiah tells you who it's about. It calls it the servant, and 6 times in Isaiah it tells you that the servant is referenced to Israel.
What servant are they talking about?
Israel.
If not Jesus.
It said it said the servant is Israel 6 times in Isaiah.
So at 53 isn't where that story starts, Mary. When you look at 52,
13 through like 15, I think, maybe.
go back. Do you have your Bible in front of you?
Yeah.
Go to 52.
Okay.
When we look at 52, and it's a continuation of this story because it's just like how they divide it.
Right.
Who? It's not. It's who is it called?
Behold my.
Well, they say, "Behold my servant."
Yeah. And
Yeah.
is this the first time in Isaiah that the servant is mentioned?
I don't believe. No, it's not.
I'm going to point you to 6 different passages. I want you to read them for us. Okay. We're going to read all 6 of them. And these are going to start from chapter 41, and they're going to slowly creep up to Isaiah 53. So start with Isaiah 41, verse 8.
41 verse 8. But you, Israel, my servant Jacob, who I have chosen, the offspring of Abraham, my friend.
Yeah. Isaiah 44, verse 1 and 44, verse 2.
I mean, that when they're saying, but you, Israel, my servant Jacob, they're obviously talking of Jacob specifically.
No, not. It's referring to the people. The people are referred to as Jacob.
Well, his tribe, yeah.
Yeah, Israel and Jacob refers to the people of Israel.
Right.
You know Genesis, I'm sure, Mary. You seem decently educated on the text.
Yeah.
So Isaiah 44, verses 1 through 2.
But now hear, O Jacob, my servant, Israel, who I have chosen. Thus say the Lord, who made you. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen.
Yeah. 44, verse 21.
Uh, 44:21. Remember these things, O Jacob and Israel, for you are my servant. I formed you. You are my servant, O Israel. You will not be forgotten by me.
And 45, verse 4.
I'm sorry, what was that one?
45, verse 4.
For the sake of my servant Jacob and Israel, my chosen, I call you by your name. I name you, though you do not know me.
And then one last passage, Isaiah 49, verse 3.
Isn't God talking about, isn't he talking to, like, is it Cyrus the Great and that?
No, that's in 40. That's at
Particular verse?
that's at the beginning of chapter 45.
What was the last one?
49, verse 3.
And he said to me, you are my servant Israel, whom I will be glorified.
All right, so time and time again, repeatedly, the servant is identified as the people of Israel. So when I get to Isaiah 52, verse 13, it says, behold, my servant shall be exalted. Based on the context, who would I think the servant is?
But don't you have to read verse, like, then if you carry on, you have to read, like, verse 3 with verse 5 and 6 after that. Because verse 5 immediately says, the Lord formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob back to him.
Yeah,
that
so
Israel might be gathered to him.
if I use a first person pronoun like me and mine, I, who am I talking about?
I understand
someone,
what
wait
you're
1
saying.
second. Someone's knocking at the door.
Give him a second. The major inclination of this is that when we're talking about this first person perspective, Mary, and it's been referred to as this first person, who do you think that it is?
Well, anytime I've read that, I always...
1 second, I'll be right back.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. I'm going to try and keep it entertaining. Who do you think that is, Mary?
I mean, I've just always read it.
Hold on. I'm getting a phone call now.
My perspective is, if the servant is simply just the nation of Israel, how can the nation restore itself?
I apologize. I got a phone call. Yeah, who would that first person individual be?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat what you were saying?
Yeah,
I was
no,
talking to somebody else.
you're absolutely good. We're both being distracted. You're totally fine. Who would that the individual quote unquote be?
That these verses we're talking about?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay, but all prior passages do
All
not
right.
indicate Jesus. There you
Okay.
go.
Okay. Now we already discussed that the servant is referred to as Israel time and time again. Okay. First person pronouns. If I use a first person pronoun, who am I talking about?
Yourself?
So when the prophet who's writing this section of Isaiah uses first person pronouns, who are they talking about?
I would imagine themselves, but I know the Bible's written all wildly too sometimes.
Not that wildly. Grammar still applies to the Bible.
It does. So does verbs.
Yeah. So when the prophet says, "The Lord formed me from my womb," he's referring to himself. God formed the prophet who writes this section of Isaiah in the womb of his mother. Now, when it says to bring back Jacob to him, that's because there's a concept that you need to be aware of in the Bible called the righteous remnant theology. The idea is that within every generation amongst Israel, even if everyone's wicked, there's always a remnant that are righteous, that remain faithful to God. The prophet is a member of that righteous remnant, which is why it's his job not only to call back Jacob, as in the wicked of Israel, but the nations as well.
I always just read it, and I would read a lot that was in Isaiah as like involving Israel, anyways. That Israel, like Jesus was the ideal person to represent Israel because the nation was failing, and he was the only one that could set it right.
Well, that's just not true within the theology of the Old Testament. Also, the servant in Isaiah 53 is referred to in the plural as a them at one point. So it can't be about Jesus because Jesus
Well,
is
Israel failed to obey God the way that
Except-
he wanted it, but Jesus
not Elijah,
didn't.
not the righteous remnant. The righteous remnant remained
Well, there
faithful
was
to God.
yeah, there was righteous that did.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
also there's another thing in grammar that we need to discuss. I usually start the conversation with this, but I forgot to. I'm going to bring to you two sentences and I want you to tell me the difference between these two sentences. I went to the store versus I shall go to the store.
You went to the store versus I shall go. Yeah, that's obviously like present and coming tense. Like I will be going somewhere. That means that you haven't gone yet, but you're going to.
When we read Isaiah 53 and it describes the suffering of the servant, is it written in past tense or future tense? Does it say he shall be wounded for our transgressions or he was wounded?
Which exact verse was that one again?
Isaiah 53 verse 5.
I'm sorry. But he was, again, this is where translation, different verses and stuff. The Bible that I read from says he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities.
And that is correct.
The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
Because from the perspective of the author, the servant has already been wounded, not will be wounded in the future. So, three things. One, the servant is identified explicitly as the people of Israel time and time again. Two, the servant is referred to in the plural at one point in Isaiah 53. And three, the language of the suffering of the servant is in the past tense. Because Jesus doesn't fit because of these three reasons. It's just that the authors of the New Testament are aware of this passage, taking it out of context and applying it to Jesus.
Like, how do you take the "he was wounded for our transgressions" part?
Jesus was
How do you interpret that?
Yeah, as in Jesus didn't live before. Was Jesus wounded before the prophet wrote this or after?
It's a prophecy, though. Yeah, it's a prophecy.
A prophecy about the future would be he shall be wounded, not he was. When we
I
see,
think they knew it to be fact, though. They knew it was to be fact, that it was going to happen, that it was true.
well,
So they
no,
said he was.
the audience would have thought that the wounding had already taken place because the prophet said so.
Is
Like-
this where people get? Is this where people get sometimes that Jesus already has returned in 70 AD?
No, because
And the
again, that's
tribulation already took place, and
no,
things
because
are.
that's still
We're reading the Bible upside down.
That's still after the prophet said these things, so the prophet wouldn't use past tense language to describe it. So, I mean, if you wanted an example of an actual prophecy that predicts the future, Jeremiah 23, the days are surely coming, says the Lord, when I will raise up for David a righteous branch. He shall reign as king and deal wisely, and shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. In his days, Judah will be saved, and Israel will live in safety. So,
Isn't going back to David another way, though, that Jesus fulfilled his prophecy being from the lineage of David?
except for we don't really have any solid evidence that he was. We have two genealogies for Jesus, and they contradict each other, and they also both kind of like make it impossible for Jesus to actually be the Messiah. There's something within both genealogies that disqualify Jesus.
What's the second genealogy outside of David's?
No, well, they're both from David, but one genealogy, they contradict each other. One genealogy says that Jesus is a descendant of David through Solomon, and it goes all the way down to Joseph, but Joseph's father's name is Jacob. And the other genealogy, it's David through his son Nathan. It goes all the way down to Joseph from his father Eli. So in both genealogies, they give different dads to Joseph, different sons to David, and then also the fact that Luke says that it's David through Nathan. Well, Nathan's descendants are not the kings of Israel. Solomon's are. But even on Matthew's side, where it's David through Solomon, it's David through Solomon all the way down to Jeconiah. And according to the book of the prophet Jeremiah, none of Jeconiah's descendants can be king over Israel.
Like 2 Samuel, what is it? 2 Samuel 7:12 through
That's about
16, where it says
that's
the
about
Messiah
Solomon.
would come from David's line.
Not Messiah. That's Solomon. Did Solomon? Did Jesus commit iniquity?
What is it? Acts 2.
I know what Acts says, but when we go back and we actually read 2 Samuel 7, did Jesus commit iniquity? Did he do sin?
No, Jesus has never sinned.
Well, it says in 2 Samuel 7:14 and 15, I will be a father to him, and he shall be a son to me. When he commits iniquity, I will punish him with a rod such as mortals use. God says that the child that he would be a father to would also commit iniquity.
What type of iniquity do you think that they were thinking that he would be committing?
Well, Solomon engaged in idolatry.
Do you think it's because when that was said, they knew that he was going to claim to be the Messiah, and then at that time there was people that said that
What?
that was a lie, so he would be lying?
What? No, Isaiah 2 Samuel has nothing to do with the Messiah. It's about Solomon, David's son.
Well, David was still just a mortal person. He wasn't Jesus. He wasn't God.
Why are we talking? Yes, I know he's not Jesus. He's not God. All 2 Samuel talks about is that God promised King David that he would have a son, and that son would build the temple, and that God would be like a father to him, and that when that son commits iniquity, God would punish him.
So Acts 2:30, where it says, therefore being a prophet, and knowing that God has sworn an oath to him that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he would raise up Christ to sit on his throne. Who's that talking about?
Well, the author of Acts is making the claim that the passage in question is about Jesus, but when we go back and we actually read the passage, it's clear that either the author doesn't know what 2 Samuel 7 is about, or they know and they're like lying. Those are the only options. They're either ignorant or they are being malicious.
Sorry, I got my Bible open. Hold on a second. What's the other cross reference? Hold on. Acts 8, 26 through 35.
I don't know why you keep pointing. I don't know why you keep pointing to the New Testament when my contention is that the authors of the New Testament are misquoting the Old Testament. I'm aware that the authors of the New Testament make the claim that Jesus is fulfilling prophecies and they quote these Old Testament passages. The problem is when we go back and we read those passages in the original Old Testament, it's taken out of context.
Sorry, I'm just reading what I'm just reading what those verses were that you told me was taken out of context.
Well, look, here's the thing, Mary. We've been going on for 3.5 hours. I usually go for 3 hours, and I got food waiting for me. So you're gonna have to call back on another day, and we can discuss in depth how Jesus fails to fulfill prophecy. All right. Have a good day, Mary. All right, let's see who's live right now that I can send you crazy kids off to go see. Let's see. Who's live right now? Oh, I also have a super chat here I need to read. I have a super chat here that I need to read from
That's Chuhan Dan with the $20. Just spreading some appreciation and some rebellion. HRVD also. Hi, Ashland.
What does HRVD stand for? Something 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 Doug? I'm sure someone will alert me as to what that means. But hi to Hondan, good to see you there. All right, let's see who's live right now. It looks like Ian is live right now, everyone. So go over to Ian's live. Tell him that the Bible guy sent you. And with that, I've been the Bible guy. Oh, wait, Ian is done. In that case, go over to Rainbow Ghost. We have never ever once sent a raid over to Rainbow Ghost. So everyone go over to Rainbow Ghost and tell them that the Bible guy sent you. And with that, I've been the Bible guy. Remember to keep reading, keep learning. We'll see you all again another day. Bye.
Born from dust and questioning fire, wielding truth like a sword of desire. Ancient scrolls and cosmic flame. He tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the scars align. Knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell. He reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guy, seeker of the light. Through time and fire he writes the night. With reason's blade and wisdom's cry.